Well, I think I'm live. I don't know. Am I live? I'm not sure. Am I live? Am I live? Hold on a second. People are in the chat. Am I live? Or am I just seeing people in the chat before I go live? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Anyway, we're gonna run the show, and if I'm live, I'm live. If I'm not live, what the hell? Anyway, anyway, here's the deal. Here's the deal. We're coming here again with another comic journey influence. Look at me. We're gonna influence another person this week. Look at me, look at our guest, and we influence him. Who that person is? Gary B. Gary B, the casual comic guy. Yeah, Gary B, that guy. Yeah, the Conan guy, the Red Sonja guy, the guy that shows the sexy ladies and he likes those. That guy. That guy. But guess what? We're not gonna talk about any of that. We're not gonna. You heard me say that he likes that. Okay, that's about it. You're not gonna hear anything more about that because what we're gonna do today is. Oh, hey! Don't get fuzzy on me, camera. Okay, listen. We're gonna talk to him, and we're gonna get deep into who Gary is, the Gary origins. We're gonna talk to Gary unlike any other time that he's been talked to. We're gonna take a deep dive, and you're gonna get to know one of the people one of the people that took a great part of forming this community that we are in. Yes, this community, the real comic community. I don't know. We'll ask Gary. Is this the real comic community? I'm not sure, but this community, he took a great part in forming, and I'm interested to see his thoughts and how he started this. I know a little bit, but we're going to find out more. But that being said, I'm going to play the intro because that's what we do on this show. We're going to play an intro. We're going to play our obnoxiously long intro, and then I'm going to bring in our guest, and then he's going to help me. We're going to say hellos, and we're going to get started, and that's it. Okay? Understand? All right, let's get started. Let's get started. Yes, it's time for the interview. You just saw it. It said it in my intro. And for all the people out there that think, it might not be long enough, I'm in the works of making it about 3 times the length. And you'll all be able to enjoy it so much more. Okay, so we're going to make it a lot longer so you get to watch and enjoy. Okay? All right. So let's without further ado, we're going to invite our guest over. Please help me welcome our guest, Gary B, the casual comic guy. Some might call him the keeper of the cash.
Hey, good evening, CJ.
Good evening. Good evening, Gary. It's been a while since we've been on a stream like this. We were on a couple panels together where we're like in a group, like we're all talking over each other. But it's been a while since we've had like a really one-on-one kind of a thing.
Right. I think it's been actually so long. I think it was when you used to do in the middle of the afternoon unboxings.
Oh, when I got to show everybody my colossal disasters of eBay unboxings.
Yeah.
Yeah, for everybody that doesn't know that, I did go through my time period where I just just unapologetically unbox crap for people to laugh at my mistakes. Hopefully, it helped some people don't make the same mistakes. But yeah, those were fun. We used to do those. Yeah, that was like probably 2-3 years ago
Yeah, that was before your night show with Namen and K-pop and Bleeker and the crew.
with the Insomniac Nation.
Yes,
Because that's what we go. Because we have a clique too. Everybody's got a clique. You got your clique.
correct.
You got the anachronic one with you, and you got the Matt Woods with you. I know your clique. Everybody's got a clique. I got my insomniacs. I got the people that are, unfortunately, my clique is a little bit more deranged than your clique, but it's all right. I love them equally. Okay, all right.
A little more fun to herd, right?
Yeah. I think the last time that I actually hopped on your channel was I just remembered. I had you had me on your hot seat. You put me in the hot seat, and then you brought a freaking panda that was talking about his ass.
Well, and then I had you on the 1011.
Yeah, well, no, I'm talking about the last time. 1011 was a little bit more like normal kind of a thing. But last time I was on, you had a panda talking about his ass and sticking up tubes in his ass, and you had a man that dressed like an owl on there as well.
Well,
Not sure if that was on purpose or if it was just coincidence that he showed up. But
so the Insomniac Nation, you guys have more hair than my clique. You guys got better hair.
Well, listen, we got Bleak and we got K-pop in that clan.
They're 90% of YouTube's hair right there.
There you go. That's all we need. We don't really need much more hair than that. Then if I take off my shirt, you see my back. Oh, then we're done. No more hair. We have no hair shortages anywhere. But before we get started, let's do this. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat.
Let's do it.
You like doing hellos. You're gonna help me do hellos. You're gonna help me do the hellos.
I'm here. Let's go.
And you know how we do them here, like, as we usually do them here on this channel. We're gonna do hellos to everybody, whoever's in here now. And if you're not in here, you don't get a hello after. You just get here. Take my hand. Hello, like that. That's what you get. We're not gonna disrupt the interview because it's not fair to Gary. It's not fair to me either. We're just gonna wave. No hellos after that. Okay? So that is what. And by the way, I will give a Q&A session for everybody to ask their questions at the end of the show. The way we know.
I ain't answering shit.
You don't have to answer shit. You could just look. You could just look like a mean human being and not answer anybody's question. Okay? That's what you could do. All right, so let's get started. We got Hulk Collector 82.
Kevin, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, well, all right, you're catching up. Okay, you got to be. I'm gonna say the name, and then you're gonna say hello, or you do your wave, your salute, whatever you do. But we're gonna try to do it a little quicker, fast pace.
Well, not if you carry on all night. We're not.
No, well, not. I'm just trying to make it quicker. Okay. All right, and we got Jerry the Jitterbug.
One of my favorite people ever.
All right, you don't have to tell people about who your favorite. Oh, maybe we'll talk about that later about who your favorites are.
Here to be honest.
Then we got Glenn, our friend from the UK.
Glenn, how you doing, bud?
Hope
nice
you're
to see you,
well
sir.
over there. Who else we got over here? We got. No, we said hello to Hulk already. No more hellos to you, Hulk. Enough. One hello. And we got Lisa Noble.
Lisa, good evening.
Good evening, Lisa. And we got Beefit from New Zealand.
Beefit, how you doing, sir? Nice to see you, bud.
One of the best community guys out there that doesn't have a channel, by the way.
Right?
Yeah. I think he got shafted.
He supports a lot of people.
I think he got shafted in the nominations and the finalists. I think he got shafted. We'll talk about that a little bit. I got to pick your head about the CBC Awards as well. We'll talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Brother
Joe.
Station.
Yeah. His brother is another community guy, Bobby Delgado.
Ooh, Bobby's great. Love Bobby.
Absolutely.
John Stout. Good evening, sir.
Another favorite. And one of our own.
Hokan Joe.
Hokan Joe, who just devastated me at the fact that he's not going to go to Baltimore. One of my highlights of going to Baltimore was seeing him, but he's not there.
I'm waiting for him to make me a Hyborian dagger.
Speaking of highlights of seeing people at Baltimore, here's a low light. I think he's going to be there.
Hey, Nauman.
So I might have to run into the worm. Who knows?
Didn't he get the memo? No Conan?
No Conan. No, we're not answering him. We're ignoring him. Just because he puts a Q in there doesn't mean he's going to get answered. We use our discretion. And we got the actual Dracula.
Adrian, good evening, sir.
And we got Esvon, who you were just on just
I
now.
was having a fun time showing collectibles and meeting new people.
And you did show a wonderful medley of knickknacks and doohickeys and stuff on there. It was wonderful, along with the other panelists that showed their knickknacks, doohickeys, and stuff as well. And it was fantastic. But Mr. Vaughn, I saw your message on the IG. Yes, you did have him on first. But just because you're first doesn't mean you're the best. Okay? Let's just be clear about that. Okay? And I got him all to myself. Not an orgy. I don't make orgies here. It's a one-on-one. I have a one-on-one.
A straight sloppy seconds situation.
That's well, no. You'll see. No sloppy seconds for a journey. I think about everything.
Next hello. Let's move it along. Let's go.
So we're doing that. Oh, enough. We said hello to the worm. No more hellos to the worm. We got Evil's Comics.
Mike, how you doing, sir?
Good evening, Evils. And we got Norrad.
Norn, nice to see you, bud.
What the hell is he doing? Surfing? What the fuck is he doing?
Right.
We got Beefit. We said hello to Beefit already. The nerdy weds.
Good evening. Nice to see you.
We got a 2-for-1 over here. We got the nerdy weds. Who else do we have here? I think. Oh, we got Rob Fatsax.
Good evening,
That's
bud.
right.
How you doing, Rob?
That's right, my friend. Look at me. Look at me. Look at you. All right. Who else we got? We got. Oh, your favorite and mine, Brian.
Brian, how's it going, bud?
Stick around, Brian. You have no excuses today. It's not 4 a.m. Okay, who else we got? I think that might be. I think we got all the one shots that are in here. We got Raging Cajun.
Yeah,
he's not raging.
We got Biggie Jack. We got K-pop. Pops and Comics. Right. John Stout.
Not so fast. You're rushing. You're rushing.
Hey, you said you want to move it along. I'm just trying to facilitate.
We are, but we're giving everybody their due. Okay, so
Mr.
we got
DJ Links.
All right, we got everybody. I think we got everybody. Right? Didn't we get everybody? Oh, Pops and Comics. There we go. Pops and Comics 82. Oh, and last but not least, DJ Links on the ones and twos, doing the on the ones and twos. All right. That's it. All right, we said all the hellos. We're done with that. We're done with that.
We're to content now.
We're on to content.
All right.
Now it's going to be the riveting stuff.
Let's do content.
All right. So listen, this is going to be a little bit more loosey goosey than it is on normal interviews that we're doing. Not for the fact that I'm devaluing who you are. Is I know you a lot better than a lot of the guests I've had on here. So I think I got a little bit of carte blanche to be able to actually ask you a little bit more casual questions.
Right.
See what I did there? Because you're the casual comic guy.
Right. And we've had several phone conversations that have lasted at least a couple hours.
Well, it's not my fault. You're like a freaking woman, and you talk. It's
not my fault you won't commit. All right.
Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah. All right. I got commitment problems. Okay. All right. Wait. There you go. Okay. All right. Then I brought this guy with me today.
Oh yeah.
I got the big guy with me today. That's right. I brought the big guy today because you're special. So we brought the big guy. Oh yeah. All right, Gary. Pretty much, you and I pretty much started doing content very close to each other time frames, right? Was it about 3 years, 4 years?
I'm not sure when I found you on YouTube, but so I'm not really sure when you started, honestly.
We discovered each other about 3 years ago. About 3 years ago. That's about when
Correct.
I started actually doing content.
So you up about the same time.
Yeah, I was lurking around for a lot earlier than that, under another name. So only the OGs that actually know who I am
Dirty lurker.
will know who that was, as far as the lurkings, because I'm sure you did a lot of the same yourself, right? You were lurking around before you actually pulled the trigger to actually go on a live stream and show
Actually,
your
not
face.
really. I
No, you just jumped
My
in.
kid was interested in YouTube because he watched it because that's kids these days. That's their cable. When we were young, it was about cable. Kids are about YouTube. So I just jumped on YouTube and never really watched it much to learn about it in case my kid ever got on it, so I could parent it. And then I thought I'd be on a month or a couple weeks, and unfortunately for a bunch of people, I'm still here.
So it didn't take a lot of nerve on your end as far as just
Right?
jumping on. You just like said, screw it. I'm putting on the camera. I'm done. I'm going forward, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have jitters or anything
Oh,
like that.
oh yeah. I'm like, well, I'm like, well, I didn't think anyone would watch me, so I didn't think about it. I'm like, who's gonna watch this old fool? And I had the worst videos to start, right? Uh,
Yeah, but
the
everybody's got the
was the
worst
juice
videos to
book,
start.
was
Everybody's got those nightmare videos to
right?
start.
Oh, horrible.
I think if everybody goes back to see their first video, I can't because mine have been blocked. But one of my first videos that were still
Well, now
around.
you know to wear pants, so now
Well,
you're not
it's
blocked.
not my fault. They didn't give me the instructions. Anyway, I think everybody that goes back to their first videos are going to be very critical of themselves, unless they're delusional. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's
Right.
not nobody that comes in right off the bat that's
Well,
polished and ready.
unless you already came from a production background, right?
Well, that's a different story.
Right.
We're talking about the schlubs that we have here in our community, us guys.
The
Like,
average Joe.
I got a camera. Look at me. One of those guys. So when you jumped in here for the first time, what was your gateway drug? Who pulled you in? What channel got you to watch?
So like everybody else, right? You come in and your gateway in are the big guys. So you watch your gem mints, you watch your comic mints, you watch your toms and comic toms. And back then too, it was also the company man. What's his name? Alex Winking Michael. So
Mm-hmm.
you come in, you watch those guys. They were the big guys at the time. And then you're like, all right, you're starting to, because I was also getting back into the hobby around that time. So you're learning about some of the new stuff that's out there, some of the new keys, stuff like that. But then after you watch them a few times, you're like, all right, I see what their shows are. Then you start discovering smaller channels and enjoying that. And your interest and your taste develop, and you want to follow people that have more of a commonality with you than the bigger channels. Not
Do
that
you
there's
still
anything
watch
wrong
any of
with
those
the bigger
bigger channels?
channels.
Do you
Huh?
still watch any of those bigger channels
Oh yeah.
routinely,
What's that?
religiously?
About 5 6 times a week after I started when I started researching YouTube. They're the ones that you see when you first sign in. So when
Well,
you
that's
type
why I
in
called them the
comics, they
gateway
come up.
drugs.
So you check them out first, right?
Well, that's exactly the reason I called them the gateway drugs. They're the ones that pull you in. Like a good drug addict. They give you a little bit of coke, you get all hooked up, and then they're
Right.
like, now you're gonna pay. Now you're gonna get us.
Right.
Now,
They got the easily digestible content. They've already got their stick down. They already know how to present.
and once you moved over from those channels, what are the channels that tugged at your heartstrings that you found that like more you, more the
The
content
first
creators
channel
that like you could connect with on a personal level?
The very first channel I found out that was more me that I could connect on a personal level was Taylor Winder.
He is so obnoxiously awesome, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a thumbnail. I'm like, who's this dude? I'm like, I'm gonna check him out, and I was a fan, and I started watching Taylor Winder. So Taylor Winder was my gateway into the channels of us type of people, not the bigwigs, the average Joes.
And what was the average subscriber base and view rate of the Winder and a lot of the other channels at that time?
I think when I started watching Taylor, he was at like 200 or 300 subs.
And it hasn't changed much since then. Taylor, what happened?
He's over 1K. Don't pick on Taylor.
Fucking guy. I feel so bad for him.
I like Taylor because he just got on there and did his thing. He didn't
Yeah, I know.
apologize. He just came on and he was himself, and that's what I connected with Taylor. He just came on and was himself.
He definitely is. The reason I'm asking you of what the subscriber and counts are because you got in right before COVID hit us. Basically, the year before COVID hit us, right? Was it 2020, 19?
19, I got in
Okay. Oh, so yeah, right about right
right about
before
COVID.
COVID, there was a big spike in content that was being created after
Right.
everybody went to lockdown. How did you see? Like, did you see? Like, was it like welcoming that you saw? Like a lot of like new faces just show up out of nowhere, or was it something like, oh, what the hell?
Well, when I got into YouTube, like I said, I was making a couple videos, not thinking anyone would watch it, right? When I went out solo, and I got a shout out from Stevie B when I
Who
had
the hell is TVB?
subscribers.
Wait, hold
Stevie
on.
B
Who the hell is?
Comics,
See, I
right?
didn't even know him.
And I was
Who's
also and
TVB?
I was watching him at the time. I found Taylor Winder and Stevie B pretty much the same week, and he's the guy that doesn't like Valiant, and all of a sudden I saw my channel pop up on his channel. I was like, oh, what's that? Why is my name there? And then I'm like, oh, and like so you see him, and then one of the earlier people I found too was Metarog,
Mm-hmm.
and so you see them, and Stevie B was heavy into shout outs after each video at the time. Metarog's always done it.
Yeah, I'm gonna just take a second just to give a shout out to Metarog Roger. He definitely is one of the unsung heroes of the comic community as far as
Absolutely.
OGs that really doesn't care about personal, accolades and that kind of thing. He just does it because he loves it. And you can see it when he talks about shit like that. And I think more people should give him love. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he gets enough love on his channel.
And just a genuine and really good dude.
Solid dude, very solid dude. Stevie B, I don't remember for some reason.
And knowledgeable.
Is he still
His
around? Stevie B?
Yeah, his clique is like Squatchy and those guys.
Oh, he hangs out with the hard crowd. I didn't know him, so that's why I don't know that clique. So I we all have our little clique. So I have to
Right.
get familiar with them. I gotta get familiar with them. And then suddenly you started getting involved with actually making regular content over time on your channel as well. You
Right.
started off with the usual suspects, which
Yeah,
I
well,
think was a really great show.
because then I met my buddy Jimmy the
Hmm.
Don, right? And Jimmy and I were both like at the time that I discovered him and he discovered me, we were both around the 200 mark. And he was doing mostly unboxings then. I was doing mostly because that's your gateway in is unboxings, right? You don't know what else to do. You're new. You unbox shit. Um, and then him and I found Jason, and then it was like, hey, we should do a show together. We talk all the time. We like each other. Let's hang out. Let's do something.
And that's how the usual suspects came together, right?
Correct. And our
Okay.
first guest was Jason Douglas.
Good way to kick it off, right?
Yeah, and instantly a likable dude. Instantly a guy that became a friend of the channel and us. A guy that if I picked up the phone right now and called him, he would answer.
And who was the last guy you had on that show?
In the hot seat.
No,
Oh
not
yeah,
in the
yeah,
hot seat.
see,
Not in the hot seat. When the original format, when you had Jimmy, because I kind of almost said once Jimmy,
oh, I don't know. I can't remember. Like I don't remember things like that.
that host, you should remember everything. Okay, so we'll get to that. Your last guest that was is actually going to be what's his name tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Mark Andrews. I was just curious because for me that was like a significant turn on the show. It went in a completely different direction once Jimmy started to stop like slowing down and not being seen as much. The show kind of took a different feel and different vibe. You had Digger Jim on more often, which kind of gives a
And
little bit of
Nick's Picks and Comics for a
yeah,
long time when he was
that's
free on
true.
Thursdays.
which was it gave a different dynamic altogether. So I felt like it was almost a completely different show than what it was when you first started.
It is, and I'm going to
Different
get into
feel.
that later when we talk about Grow Together, about how I structure my shows now.
Hmm. So
And the
what?
way I change Grow Together actually has a lot to do with DJ Links, although DJ Links doesn't know about it.
Well, we'll get into that. And then at some point in time, you started implementing their second show that was
The ten
I mean,
one one.
Other than Savage Saturdays and your Saturday work there you do. I'm talking about those regular panel type of show formats that you
Right.
had. You went into the 10-1-1, which gave a little bit of an interesting take as far as getting people to show off their stuffs in a more creative look at me fashion.
Well, I came up with that just driving. I had to clear a code on my car, so I took the car out for a ride, and I'm driving the car, and I'm just thinking about what I do on YouTube in my shows. I'm like, I really want to do another live show. I don't know what I could do, and then I thought about what I was seeing on other channels, right? And the thing that struck me is I got tired of seeing the same 10 books on all the channels I was going to. I can only see so many ASM 300s. I can only see so many ASM 252s. I can only see so many X-Men ones, giant size X-Men ones. And there's nothing wrong with those books, but there's more books out there than that.
It gets
And
boring.
what I wanted to bring to the show in your comics game was I wanted connection. I don't care about the value. You could bring all 50 centers. And the show last night with Joe is a perfect example of that. And I just want you to come on the show and talk about books that affect you personally, things that you love, things that you still think about that you may have read 30 years ago and still keep you in comics, stories that mean something to you. And that's the whole premise of that show. The 10-1-1, and it was just for alliteration to make it fun to say, right? The one was supposed to be an extended personal story, one that, you have all these personal stories with the books you're showing. The one is a really personal story. Maybe it was given to you by someone that's not around anymore, or maybe you created it with somebody. And the spec pick is just a fun one for the audience, right? That's all. It's just a throwaway fun one.
Now, what I like about the 10-1-1 is this, and tell me if I'm correct or incorrect in this. It's not canned. You don't have a generic set of questions for every guest. Not one
No,
set of questions is one.
it's all off the cuff.
Because I've noticed that in other shows where you have the host, they just have a generic set of questions, and it's kind of like.
No, because that would be stale to me. I want everything I do to at least seem fresh. Even if I look old, I want the content to be fresh.
Do you feel like a lot of channels have tried to imitate what you've done with the usual suspects, the hot seat and 10-1-1 over time?
I don't know if I'm someone that's ultimately copied. I think live shows are a rite of passage on YouTube. You come onto YouTube and you start making your little videos, and then you discover lives. And some people are really scared by live shows at first. I was nervous the first time I did a live, and then after that, I didn't care anymore. I was good. After my first live, I was like, oh, this is easy, no big deal. And
Well, you kind of
uh,
answered a question I didn't ask. I was asking after you started doing these shows and they got some substantial viewership and enjoyment from the community. Have you noticed that other channels have tried to apply the same format or imitate what you do on your show?
uh, I would guess, yeah, to some extent, because if you see something you like and you're going to imitate it.
Do you find that flattering or insulting or something in the middle?
I find it. I mean, it's got to be flattering for the most part, because then someone's connecting with what you do. Um, you know, it's just like if I don't know. That's a good question. Like if someone's just blatantly copying you and they copy your format exactly, then I guess that's just
I mean, it's pretty damn obvious. A lot of times you're watching content, you're like, "What the hell? That's exactly what I do. Like,
Right.
change it up a little bit, do something.
Well, you're not
Even
gonna like
titles. I
my
even
new
see
series
titles
called
that
Sleepless
mimic.
Nation.
Like a lot of times, I'll even see titles that mimic another title. Like, oh, all right, we'll change it a little bit, but it's basically the same title. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
get creative. Get a little bit. I'm not a subscriber, and imitation is the best form of flattery. I hate people imitating me. So do not imitate me, people. Gary doesn't mind this so much, so I imitate him. But me, I hate it. So do not. I will sue you. I have lawyers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's shows that sound like mine, but they're not doing the same thing. They're not showing books, and the people aren't talking about books.
Yeah, I mean, there's variations of that kind of stuff. But I'm just curious how because the thing is, when you create something, when you have a show, when you have a certain idea, a concept, it becomes almost like your baby at some point, right? Like you take
Right.
ownership
You
of
get
that. You're like,
protective.
you get protective of it, and I think it's only human nature that you want to see your baby grow in the best possible way, and which brings us into the grow together hashtag you started a while ago. Now, the only thing I'm not 100% clear, and correct me on this,
Sure.
I think I can give you total ownership as far as starting the grow together, but I'm not sure if it was you and Roger simultaneously because he gravitated to that very early as well. So was it both of
Actually,
you?
I started to grow together, but the very first person that adapted the hashtag and used it in a video was Nick's Kicks and Comics.
Was it really?
Nick Con, because I came up with hashtag Grow Together, there was no intent behind it except to make a video and create a hashtag to use in the damn tool to run a contest. And I wanted to get people subscribers, right? And I wanted to pay back some of the goodness I got from other channels. Like I got shouted out by Stevie B, I got shouted out by Roger, I got shouted out by Rod the Weekend. You know that, and I wanted to pay that forward and pay it back. And Grow Together was an idea I had, and I got it while watching the Avengers movie again when Nick Fury comes on at the Iron Man when he comes on the end, and I had an idea, the Avengers Initiative. I'm like, oh, Grow Together Initiative. It was really that simple and that uninspiring, right?
Sometimes that's all
And
it takes. A simple
right.
idea, a simple concept, you run with it.
So I came up with hashtag Grow Together, and I did that first one, and I picked out, tried to, and I don't even remember the channels I picked out anymore, because it was what 3 years ago, and so I did Grow Together one, super popular, and I know Nick's Kicks and Comics was one of the ones I put on there. The Nick contacted me, goes, I want to use that. Do you mind? I go, no, Nick, go ahead. I go, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. And he made it Grow Together. After Nick did it, a couple other people did it.
I kind of like the fact that he actually approached you first. Listen, I like Nick a
Yeah.
lot. I like that, and I think um,
Well,
he's hasn't been as visible as he
well,
has in the past
well, I'll
of
tell you
recent
about
years.
Nick.
But he's a great guy.
Nick is one of the like I bust Nick's balls a lot, and you'll see me bust his balls, and you'll see me pick
Let's
on him.
just pause for
But that's
one
because I
second,
love Nick. Nick is one of the
Gary.
kindest, most gentlest people out there.
Gary, I don't mean to cut you off. Let's just pause for one quick second.
Sure.
Am I drilling you too much on this interview? Are they too hard? These questions?
No.
That's what Jerry says.
Oh. No. But Nick is one of the most genuine people you can meet out there. If Nick calls, I'm answering.
He's a good guy. I had the
And,
fortune of
and
meeting him
Ignacio
down.
too.
I love
You
Ignacio's
you cannot you
bizarre sense
cannot
of humor.
pair two more genuine, nicer humans together. Those two are a great pair.
I think if I ever met Ignacio and we're hanging out at a bar, because of the type of humor, sarcasm, and irony he has in his thought process, we would hit it off completely. Because he really like he's like one of these guys. Like I really want to meet one on one because I got a feeling we're gonna have a good time when we go out. You know, it's gonna
Oh,
be
all
a
right.
fun time.
Well, you could tell when you talk to Ignacio that he's had some wild times in him.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely. Man, Nick's a calm guy. We had drinks over in Charlotte. I met him. But I kind of had a feeling of what Nick was all about. But he is a genuine dude. He's a really good dude.
He
Um,
is.
and I don't
Even if
hold the
he's got to
fact that
pick his nose with his middle finger, he's a nice guy.
yeah, I was about to say I don't hold it against his handicap against him. He's got 9.5 fingers. We all know that. You know, it's good to be kind to our
Well, dude,
handicapped
just
friends.
last week I called Nick. I'm like, Nick, my LCS didn't get Conan number 2, the A cover. He's like, I got you, my dude, and he got it for me.
So I like the fact that he actually, before he started using something of yours, because it was pretty much yours at that point, he just
Yeah,
get, hey, do you mind if I just, start using this? And of course, nobody in the right mind is going to say no. Of course, you said yeah.
look,
You,
Nick did one of the most, and no one's ever. I don't think anyone's seen it. Right? You got to go to Nick's Kicks and Comics channel and watch a shout out video he did, which I was a part of. So he shouted out a bunch of people, and the way he did it was ingenious. Every person he shouted out, he adjusted his camera to the angle they have on their channel, and it was hilarious.
I think I remember that. I'm pretty sure I remember that. I got to go backwards and watch that. You know what? Now you got me intrigued. Sometimes it's fun to go about watch some old videos like that. Uh, so you're running with the Grow Together.
Correct.
Nick is gravitating to it. Metarog, I know, was gravitating to it. A few other members started to get really involved in it, and
Right.
from being just a Gary thing, it became a community thing at one point,
Right.
right?
Which is spectacular, right? I mean, if when you think of a hashtag like grow together, I guess that's the ultimate goal of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'll tell you something. I've said this in the past. I've said it to you directly, and I know that for a fact. I've said it on a stream or two. I don't know how much visibility my channel would have today or not have today if it wasn't for you at one point in time in the early stages of our, you know, confrontations, meetings. I don't know what you want to call it. When we first discovered each other, of you shouting me out because I was one of these lurkers. I did do very minimal content at that point. I didn't put a lot of stuff out. I was still like testing out what I wanted to be doing as my content at that
Finding
point.
your voice.
Yeah, kind of like I know I got multiple voices. You don't know the voices that are in my head, but I tried to see what was the voice I wanted people to associate with me.
Right.
You know, so as I'm going through that process, as I'm lurking in the chats, all of a sudden I get a shout out from you, and it literally took my channel from I want to say 30, 40 viewers at that point, subscribers that I had, to about 70, 80. So pretty much doubled overnight. And we talk about within a 1 day jump. That's a big jump for a small channel like that have that kind of impact. Would I have gotten there without your help? I don't know. There's no way to find out. I can't revise history. All I do know is that you gave a jump start and you got people to start associating and meeting up with me and watching my content and commenting to me and making new friendships and relationships in this community. And I owe that to you.
Oh,
So thank you for
no,
that.
no big deal, buddy.
Now you did that did cause me to meet some people I really don't like and they won't leave me alone. So I don't know what to do with that. But we're not we're gonna focus on the positive, you know. But it was channels like yours that got me introduced to the Jitterbugs,
Right.
uh, the Brian LCSs, the uh, Nick's Kicks, actually Nick's Kicks, so the Whack Comics, all these channels. I didn't know these channels. I was watching more mainstream channels, and I had the occasional little underground weird channels that I watch. But as
I
far as
don't
this,
think I could take credit for Whack because I found Whack late. And once I found Whack Comics, I instantly loved those dudes.
yeah, but I remember you talking a lot about them. I remember you talking a lot about them. I also remember the early days you used to hop on. I think you used to hop on with Legion at one point. What was it? Another chat? No, it was a Saturday night chats that you went on with. Was it Remy's?
Oh, Getler.
It was Gettler. It was Gettler, the White Shadow.
Yeah. Chip Getler, one of the nicest people in the community.
So he definitely is, and I'd love to see. I know that he relaunched his channel, which I still don't understand that whole mindset. He relaunched his channel. He's putting more content on again. Love to see him be more involved as he was once was again. Hopefully, he comes back into things. So you had the Grow Together movement that started to spread. Everybody's gravitating to it. I remember even myself adding that hashtag into a few of my videos. And I don't do that. I don't really go into the whole, I'm gonna follow you kind of thing. I like to go a little bit beat my own drum, but I like that movement.
Right.
Now
Nothing.
it had a certain feeling and it had a certain vibe at that time.
Right, and it worked for what it was because I did a grow together too, which worked good. A little bit less diminishing returns. Then grow together 3 came around, and that's when I knew I had to change the way it was done.
And
And
what gave you that feeling? What made you actually feel like
a
this is not
couple
working
things,
anymore?
because one, I started seeing that the subs people were getting were just transitory, right? It's just I'm offering a prize, and if these channels get to this, you get a prize. And those people don't. A lot of those people don't stay sub to channels after the prizes are given out, right?
And even if they do,
So
they don't watch.
right, and so I need to do it different. But the real catalyst for that was DJ Links making a snarky comment to me. And DJ Links is a really, really nice guy, and he doesn't know that he set this off in my head because I never told him. But DJ Links put a comment when I did Grow Together 3. He put a comment in the comments, obviously, and he said, "Oh, this thing again? We're doing this again?" And but when he said it, it stuck with me. I'm like, "We're doing this thing again." I'm like, well, damn, he's right. This has got to evolve. This I can't keep doing. I can't do I can't do grow together 4, grow together 5, have the same format over and over again. It gets old. It gets stale, and there's diminishing returns on how it's on how people are subbing up people. All of a sudden it's getting harder for people to get subs, and also at that point I had grown to I think like 500 or 600 subs. So most of the people that were following me were already following channels I was trying to shout out, except for maybe some of the smaller ones I found. But then all of a sudden you see some of these smaller channels aren't sticking around, so you shout them out. They get 10, 11 extra subs, but then they don't make content anymore. And then I go, well, I have to change this up somehow. And around that time was when Jimmy was going off to do his politicians, his politicking, and Jason was getting out of it, and I had to change up how Grow Together worked, and I don't think anyone even realizes how I changed it because I never talked about it. Um, but I'm really super thankful for DJ putting that comment in there, and I know he meant it probably snarky and joking around, but it was actually a catalyst for me because when I read it, it really struck a chord with me that I did have to change it up. So it was great constructive criticism, which I'm sure wasn't his intent, but man, it really helped me out a lot.
It's
Um,
funny with links because I've seen him actually do this a few times, actually with me as well, where he throws in a snarky comment or like a little bit of a, I don't know, I want to call it obnoxious comment or something like that. That whether it's intended to or not, he triggers me, and I'm like, oh, really? All right, now you just gave me fuel. Thank you. I don't know if he
right,
does that on purpose. And I listen. Don't get me wrong. I like Links. You know what I'm saying? He's one of my fellow New Yorkers. How could I not like? Even though he's from Brooklyn, it's okay. It's not Queens, but okay. Even though he's from
your
Brooklyn,
borough's got to calm down a little bit.
yeah. Even though he's from there, no, I do like him a lot, but he has done the same thing that you just mentioned, whether intentionally and unintentionally, to me on a few of my campaigns. But I divert. So you changed everything going forward.
Right,
You subtly changed it.
right, and I did that. By the way, I have hosts on my show. So if you notice on my shows, I don't do what other people do. I don't do a community hangout. There's nothing wrong with those. It's just not my style. I want to know exactly what I'm doing when I do a show.
You're structured.
Right.
Is that the
There's
reason you brought
nothing wrong with
Robin with
hangouts.
you?
It's just not my it's just not how I do it.
Is that the reason you brought Robin with you on the 1011? Because he's Mr. Structure?
No, I have my own structure. Rob has his own structure. Rob doesn't need lessons in me how to structure his show. I don't need lessons from Robin how to structure. I brought Robin because Rob's a professional and he's a friend. Um, but I did the 1011 and I had to change with Jimmy and Jason going. I had to think of, am I going to keep doing in the hot seat? And if I am going to keep doing it, what do I have to do differently? And that became an opportunity. So if you notice, people will appear on my show as a guest. I'll have them on as a host at some point in the future, usually. But I want to blend the community, right? So I'll have you on, and then I'll bring someone from a completely different community on the co-host. You guys meet each other, become friends. When you guys sub each other, and the people that follow them into the chat to watch them, and the ones that come in to watch you, see you guys hit it off. They go sub them. Their subs go sub you, and those are subs that actually stick.
So it's a form of comic community networking.
Yes. So like, and you will see me sometimes at 3, 4 hosts. I will bring on people like I did a whole time with your Insomniac Nation to cross them over with other crowds.
I
And
do thank you for that.
so they sub each other up and it grows both communities. And if you keep and that's how I structure my shows now. I try to cross communities whenever I can. Because once you get invested in a person and you're sitting across from them and you talk to them and you become in, intellectually and emotionally invested in who they are and you sub them up, you're not unsubbing them the next day. Like these prize lizards, which I came up with, by the way, DJ Links will tell you. But these prize lizards that just want to come in, win a prize, and leave.
Well, I won't take any credit for prize lizards because I refuse to still save prize lizards. They're giveaway
Well,
trolls to me.
yeah.
But
Well, I said prize lizard on one of my streams, and I know DJ Links loved it and ran with it. Um,
yeah, everybody and their mother did that after.
but
I've seen
but
it.
that's how the grow together. I've changed it and structured it. I don't call it out anymore. Now it's just strictly through actions. Like another person, right? So Caroline, I had like Miss Lady Fantastic. I didn't know her from anything. She was new to me. So I bring Caroline in for a show. But there you go. There she is. So I bring Caroline in for a show. What a great person. What a knowledgeable person. I instantly put her in usual suspects chat, ask her to co-host here and there, and people get to know her through my channel. They get to know her through her work on Whack Comics. She gets to know other people that she would probably never have met otherwise. Everybody subs up to each other, and those subs stick.
So you have your own way and structure of crossing people's streams.
Right. Because look, you talked about it earlier. We're all in cliques, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now people give clicks a dirty word. Look, DJ Links has his
It's
clique. I have
it's
my
the
clique. You
it's
have
the
your
truth.
clique. Now, just because you have cliques doesn't mean you don't have friends that extend beyond that clique, but you have your main people you hang out with. When you think of DJ Links, you think of Remy Q. You think of
The
Actor
Illuminati.
Dracula. You think of Nick's Kicks and Comics. You think of Legion of Comics, and you think of Tyler.
Yeah, they're basically the Illuminati.
Right. Now, clique's not a dirty word. Those are just the people he connects with the most and hangs out with, right?
Yeah.
I do the
By,
same thing, right? Like I hang
by
out
the
a
way,
lot. You see me, you see
some of those people in his clique are part of Insomniac Nation. So
right, and you see me hang out a lot
you
with
can't cross
people,
over.
right? Like Matt Woods, like Anachronic Comics, and the older crowd guys. Because I'm undercover, getting older. I'm 53 now. But and then like so on my channel now, you've seen a lot of Reggie Collects guys, right? Chuck Hensey, Doug Bratton, Dave Bratton, Anachronic Comics, Matt Woods, Steve White, Steve Whiting, Milt Comics, Flower Comics. Those all came, and you got another one tomorrow. Mark Andrews, part of the Reggie Collects crowd. Friday, Scott Palachuk, another part of the Reggie Collects crowd. Um, Stephanie, part of the Reggie Collects crowd. You see me interact with all those people a lot. I bring them on the show. They, some of these guys, I became really close friends with just by having them on the show. And some of the best bonding time you have is when your post show lasts longer than your main show.
Let me ask you, out of all the lives that you've done, all the interview shows that you've done, all these collaboration type of events that you do on your channel, which one episode, which one time you had a stream are you the most proud of?
Jerry the Jitterbug.
You know what? That was quite a feat to get him to show his face.
And I just wanted to talk to
He's an
Jerry.
awesome guy. Don't get me
Jerry's a
wrong.
great guy, and I was so happy to have Jerry on the show. It was such a pleasure to talk to him. I'm gonna hold it against him forever that he came on and he was better looking than everybody else, the bastard. But
I'm going to tell you this because you said Jerry, because you said Jerry, I'm not going to hold any kind of venom or toxicity towards you for not saying Comic Journey. The only because it's Jerry. That's it. Because Jerry's a solid dude.
look,
He really,
Jerry
is.
did me a favor by coming on that show, and Jerry didn't have to show his face. That that is still my most watched interview with Jerry.
And he's very candid.
Yes,
He doesn't hold back. He
so
says what he wants to say. He's
during
great.
that show, Jerry said something that was a personal belief of his, and I'm not gonna name out someone that unsub me during that show because I don't give a shit. But he unsubbed me because of something Jerry said, and I was like, "Well, we'll see ya."
Uh-huh.
Look, when I have people on my show, when you come on my show, I want you to be you and only you. I'm not. You're not playing. You're not coming on my show to be an agenda. When you came on my show, I didn't ask you to be anyone other than who you are.
How
I
many
didn't
people did you
treat
lose?
you.
How
I
many
didn't
did you
treat
lose
you
when
like
you had me on?
anyone, right? And I didn't treat you like anyone other than who you are. I didn't treat you
How
like
many
a
people did
gimmick,
you lose? How many
huh?
people did you lose when she had me on? Come on.
Oh, I don't care. I'm always going to run
Half.
my show my way, and if people don't like it, they can unsub me. But here's what I the thing. If you want to know what I'm most proud of about my channel, right? And this is gonna hit a hot topic for you, so I'm gonna set you off here. The
Okay.
people that watch my channel, I have the same people that are watching my channel that have been watching it for years, are solid, right? They watch it. They're involved with the content I make. And there's shows I do like Savage Saturday Comic Review. That's a very niche show that only speaks to a certain demographic of people that watch my channel. But those people watch that religiously, and it's only like 60 to 100 watches it gets. It's always the same people. I love doing that show because I love the conversations I have with them, and I love that they're their own little community, and that thrills me to no end. Um, and that's also part of the reason I don't do memberships. And people go, "Oh, you don't do memberships? You hate memberships?" I don't. I'm a part of the Link Squad. All right, I don't hate them, but they're not for me or my channel because that's not how my channel's set up. Um, when I hit 1,000 subs, I really put a lot of thought into this, CJ. I'm like, do I do memberships? I thought about different tiers. I thought of what I might offer, and I'm like, is what I'm going to have to offer and going to be worth what I would do? And I was only going to go like 99 cents, $1.99, like a buy me a cup of coffee bullshit thing. And then I decided strongly against it for my channel. Um,
We'll push you over to go against it.
to go against it, well, because I had a simple thought, and most of my things come as simple thoughts, right? All these people that have watched me and sub me got me to 1,000 subs. It was through their dedication and them watching me and them spending time on my channel and interacting with me that got me there. I'm not going to turn around and go, "Hey guys, look, thank you so much. You got me to 1,000. Gonna need $4.99 a month from you now." It didn't sit right with me. I'm still not a fan of memberships. I don't have very many of them. Um, I think what DJ offers is a step above, and I think DJ puts a level of polish and care into his channel and to his members that you don't see with other memberships that want to charge you. Like DJ will share my stuff on Instagram, right? You'll sub up to you'll have memberships with other people. One of the big things, right? Oh, you'll get shouted out. And then you'll see, oh, at the end of the show, thank you, thank you. No, those are thank yous. A shout out somebody. Take a moment and actually highlight them. Do one person a show, give them a highlight, talk about them specifically for a minute. That to me would be a shout out.
Do you feel that some of these memberships are your ticket in to get some recognition for some of these lower channels, and that's why a lot of them do it? Like, in other words, I'm a nobody. I don't. Nobody knows me. I got like a little 50 sub channel that nobody even wants to watch. However, I just became a member at a big channel, and maybe they're not shouting me out, maybe they're not saying thank you, but they're scrolling me in the screen, and somebody might have seen that scroll. You think there's something to that as far as
Oh,
like
I think
buy my way into the graces of people?
I
Because
think
I
it's a good way to get recognition when you're
yeah,
small. So, because what do a lot of these memberships include? A chat. So you buy your membership, you
which
get
by the way
added
is
to a chat,
bullshit.
and then you're in there with 15, 20 other people, right? And then those other people, and those chats are in essence another way to grow together, right? All of a sudden you meet a bunch of people that you didn't know before they met you.
You're talking the
Uh,
IG chats.
right. Now the
Oh,
only problem with those IG chats
you don't want to be in the half
is
of them.
is like I'll get a notification. Like, so one thing I don't do, I don't post any of my videos in chats. I don't go, hey, just posted a new video, everybody go watch. I don't do that. I only want people watching my channel that really connect with the content. I'm not going to force you to watch what I do. I'm not going to ask you to go watch it. If you like my stuff, then I want you there. And to me, the biggest thing is I only want people watching my shows that really connect with what I'm doing. That's the community I want. So in my chats, right? And you'll see the same people. And what do you see in those chats? They're all talking to each other. They're all having fun. They're all busting balls. They've all become friends in those chats. And it's why I don't do prizes. And I learned that, believe it or not, from Jimmy the Don, from his 10 questions. Jimmy did, and I can't remember who the person was, all right, but he had a great insight. He said he doesn't do prizes for his streams anymore. And they talked about it, and again, it went with the transitory subs. But what I found when I was doing prizes, um, what I found when I was doing prizes is those people would come in and disrupt the people who are regulars. So you have this great community you built, and then you're hurting it by all these prize lizards coming in and trying to get a prize, saying stupid shit in your chats, disrupting the people that are actually there to watch your content and interact with the other people that are in the chat. And that really pissed me off. And I didn't want them interrupting the regulars who were good, solid people and just there because they generally want to interact with your content. I wanted to cut out the prize lizards. No more prizes. Now the people that watch my stuff watch it because they want to watch it. So if I have like last night with Joe, I had 30 something people watching. Now, if you have prizes, you might have 60 something people watching. While all those extra people that are watching are disrupting your regular chat and they're hurting your community in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong, but that's my thought on it and that's my approach to it. I'm really protective of the community I built. It may not be the biggest community, but my community is really important to me, and I'm not going to disrupt that community by having people stop in that want to win something.
So you're a big believer in less is more and quality over quantity.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So that being said, you know, everybody kind of knows my thoughts on how I feel about memberships as far as If you're going to ask me to fork over whatever amount of money I'm going to send over, there needs to be some value in it for me personally. And it doesn't necessarily mean financial value. It means there needs to be some additional value. So, in other words, if you're one of the best ways to not get me as a member is to say that one of the perks in your chat is we'll highlight your comments. Dude, I was commenting well before you had a membership. You're gonna stop
Well,
highlighting my comments all
right.
of a sudden because
Well, also, I don't like that also, and I'll tell you why. I don't think it builds community right. So then you're making the people that watch.
it's a pay-per-view.
Right. Well, you're making the people that watch it. You're highlighting. You're basically telling the other people that are spending time in your channel that you think these people are better than them, and they're not. They just can afford to pay. They can just afford to pay a membership. Because
Maybe it's
someone
not
can't
even they
afford a
afford it.
membership
Maybe they
doesn't mean they're
choose
not
to
as
pay.
important as a person who can.
I look at it like this. You got the Netflix, you got the Amazon Primes, you got the Hulu's, you got all these different streaming platforms that you could pay to buy, and they give you a lot of content, a lot of shitty content, a lot of good content, but they're giving you a lot of content. So if you're a YouTube channel and you're gonna charge $4.99, $9.99, whatever, you better justify it in
Right.
some freaking way.
You better have
Unless
some Last of Us on there for me to watch.
unless it's some kind of fundraising kind of serious situation like C3, or there's or like Whack Comics. One of the goals as far as their membership is concerned, and they don't have a very high membership thing, is to get Lee from Australia here to America. All right, you know what? I'll contribute towards that. I'll help towards that. Why not? You know what I'm saying?
CJ, I'm
Yeah.
going to let you talk about that a second. I have to go get my kid for a second.
All right. All right. Now it's all about me. Look at me now, because he's leaving now, and now it's about me. So let him go take his kid, because his kid's getting picked up, and I could just continue to rant about memberships. So I personally, I personally have to see some kind of value in membership. It's not only like, hey, I like you, I'm going to give you money. What is like? I like the homeless guy in the corner. He doesn't bother me. I don't give him money every time. It just, it is what it is. And then you got other channels that they basically decide to do drive funds and say, hey, I deserve it. Why? Because. All right, that's a great reason why. You know, I don't know. Just try to add more value. Just try to do something cool for the community. Do whatever you want to do. If you're going to be asking for a membership, justify it. That's all I'm going to say. Justify it, because there's a lot of channels out there that I'm not calling out any specific channels because, I'm not in the mood, and it's not the platform to do that right now. I could, and I might, but not now. But the thing is, just try to do the best you can. You know, if you're going to do a good look at me, make sure it's a great look at me. If you're going to be charging people for that, and I don't like people that decide, hey, I'm going to give you 24-hour early access to a video, and then I'm going to show it to everybody. What's the point of that? Make it forever private access. That's worth it. That's personally worth it. It's how it goes. I'd rather just throw in a super chat here and there to show my appreciation for a channel most of the time. And just that's how I show my appreciation. And I watch. That's another way to show my freaking appreciation. Well, you do stupid things, the links. You freaking give away too much shit to the giveaway trolls. I don't know what if it makes it even worth it for you to do half of your membership things. I've seen some of the boxes you open up. It makes no fucking sense. The amount of money you collect is not even a fraction of what the hell you give out. You got other people that, like, I was just talking about memberships, Gary. Everything okay with the little one?
Yep. Just change over.
Well, I was just talking about, Gary. You got people that are the opposite, where they give away way too much shit and never see any kind of return on what they're charging for memberships. There's all kinds of different scenarios. So you could go one way extremely or the other. But that being said, I'm not going to dwell on that.
Right.
You told us about the stream, the episode you were most proud of. Now tell us the one that you are most embarrassed of, the one that you wish you could erase from your memory.
I interviewed And this was back with Jimmy and Jason. We interviewed somebody on our channel that had a book out. It was a Kickstarter. And this is when I learned you better read the book first. The book was okay, but it had some creepy vibes to it. Then when we had the creator on, he was super creepy. And it was the most awkward interview. And I thought it was going to kill the show. It was just horrible, but I'm glad it happened because it was a real good learning lesson on how to proceed.
So, what made you feel so uncomfortable during the interview? Was he like creepy? What was it?
Like real creepy sexual predator vibes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Is that still up? That video?
Yes, and I'll tell you about it privately because I'm not looking to call anyone out either. I'm not looking to accuse.
All right. Listen, we've had our guests on this channel that are very questionable in past streams that everybody got a very weird, cringy kind of a thing going on with them. We didn't know what the hell was going on. So I could definitely relate to that. Like we
Right,
don't
but you
know.
have those learning moments in your journey on YouTube, you know? Then you're like, "Oh shit, I can't do that again."
And it's gonna happen. That's why I like to ask and I like the fact that you actually didn't give me the PC answer and just say, oh, they were all wonderful. Because they're not. And we
Oh
all
no,
know
that
that.
would be bullshit.
What's the worst thing that could happen to you when you have a person that you're interviewing on like just
Oh,
general type
easy
of interview?
staccato people, right? Like you want someone that talks, you know? Um Jason Douglas was such a phenomenal guest and the best way that you could ever kick off any show that you're going to start, right? When we did the first in the hot seat and Jason Douglas was on, that was the easiest interview. And because he talked, he filled his time. The worst thing you can have on a show is, and I like to do my when I do interviews, I'll do three regular introductory questions, and then that's all you're going to get for the same bullshit questions. Because then by then you have a feeling of your guest. You start asking some more personal things, and you don't ask. I hate seeing somebody get asked the same questions that they get asked on every other fucking channel. It just drives you nuts. All right, look, we've seen it. You know, it's like when you're watching celebrity interviews and the stupid people that are interviewing them ask them the same 8 questions. We get it. You
Yeah,
know,
like what's your favorite comic character, Gary? Nobody's heard that before.
right? So it's got to be different. You got to be able to feel out your guests to do that. But the worst people to interview that and I've had people ask to come on and you bring them on and now I've learned to spot them better. And so, you know, what you'll ask them something that, uh-huh, yep, well that's uh-huh, and yep, that's not an answer. That doesn't that doesn't endear the crowd to you. That kills your show's vibe and momentum. It's really hard to create any kind of enthusiasm off one word staccato answers, right? Like when I kicked off the 1011, I started with Metarog. How could how could you not have a successful show with him, right? He came
You
on, he was
can't go wrong with
brilliant,
Roger.
absolutely brilliant. What a great first show that was with him.
You definitely can't go wrong with Roger. He's a great talk, and he's a good person to pick his brain and kind of get different aspects of the community and industry and history and everything.
Right.
So he's a fun person to have along. I won't hold his age against him. He's a nice guy. I like to fuck with him all the time.
Oh, and knowledge, man, it's hard to beat his knowledge.
No, he's great. He really is great. And I'll tell you something else that's great. I finally saw him get nominated in one of the finalists in the Lifetime
Lifetime.
Achiever. Even though I got my issues with that award and how it's being conducted and that kind of thing, it is nice to actually see his name in there.
Right.
Now, since we are talking about the CBC awards right now, that was somewhat of an offshoot from your grow together type of mentality and mindset as far as community building and that kind of a thing. Did you embrace that from the very get go?
The
Did you not?
awards.
Yeah, the award ceremonies.
Um. So here's the thing with me in the awards, and I won one last year. I don't. I can't even tell you where it is. Right.
Well, I also think he got fucked the first year, and I never really minced words about that. Reggie should not have been part of that group, but that's me talking.
Right.
Nobody else. Those are my words.
Well, here's my controversial take on the awards. If you like them and you're into them, great. If you don't like them and you're not into them, great. I am lukewarm in the middle. I don't promote myself in them. If I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. It's not why I make content. I make content for my core group of followers and those people that are growing. Like my interactions, like he was in here earlier and he's probably in here now. Hope Collector 82 Kevin. He found me
Okay.
in the last couple months. Now he has a subscription through Rhino's Comics because I suggested it. Talked to him on Instagram, and when he reached out to me the first time, he's like, "I can't believe you answered me." I'm like, why not? I see you in my chats. I see you on my shows. Why would I not talk to you? And that's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about my name on a piece of plastic. If it happens and the community votes for me, obviously I'm going to be thankful that the people that watch me care enough about me to nominate and vote me, right? And I'm going to thank them for it because you should always thank them. But if I don't win anything and I don't, it's okay.
How much
It's not why I do anything I do.
how much merit do you give to these awards other than the validation that people like you? Because it is a popularity contest. That's what really it is. It's not based on merits or anything like that, on structure or like actually looking at the channels from a neutral position, saying, "Well, this channel does this one does this." There's none of that really happening. It's basically, "Hey, I like Gary. I'm going to vote for him. I
Right.
like I like this guy. I'm gonna vote for him. I like Joe. I'm gonna vote for him. I like the Worm. I'm gonna vote for him. I hate Journey, so I'm gonna vote the person that's against him. You know,
I got a message the other day. Let me tell you about the message. Um, this channel and psych. Oh, 1 second. Hold that thought.
we lost him. And, listen, I've been called many things. I don't know. Listen, I know I'm very favorable to you and a lot of people, but I'm not a god. Okay, I'm just another man, just like everybody else. Okay, Papa, I'm not a god. Okay, you could call me Almighty if you like, but not God. It's a little bit embarrassing to be called God. Okay, all right, just making sure that's the case. Yeah, it looks like he left me. What am I going to do with him now? You know. Yep. Well, you didn't prove me wrong because I was right. That's how it works. Your vote went to wait. I guess it's a bathroom. Maybe you had to pee. Did you have to pee?
No, no, sir. I had to help my kid.
Oh, okay. I thought. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize your kid was still there. That's
Yeah. Well, he's good.
all right.
He had a rough day. It was his first day back to school. Now, where was I?
Well, we were just
Oh,
talking about the validation and the merits of these awards.
Psychotronic Squirt Gun. He's a small channel. He messaged me 2 days ago. He goes, "Hey, I voted for you." He goes, "I appreciate you looking out for the smaller channels." That was the message.
That's a nice message.
Yeah, it was a great message.
And that's part of the validation that people appreciate what you're doing.
But that's part of how the Grow Together works, right? Because he's a regular part of the community in the chats most of the times, and he interacts with those people. They all get to know each other and sub each other up.
Now, do you feel that these awards could work in only a positive way, or they could work in a divisive way? Because it's been every year had its
I
own set
think
of controversies.
anytime there's anything that's award based, it leaves room for the pettiness and
Because there's
people to come
critics.
out. right?
There's critics and there's critics of critics because basically the people voting are the critics. So you have people criticizing the critics.
Right, but you have people that are trying to help each other, and then you have people that are trying to now that now that they're in the same category with some of their friends start tearing their friends apart because they want to win something. And that's what I don't like to see. I don't want to see someone. Well, if they're your friend, all of a sudden you want to tear them apart because you just want to get your name on a piece of plastic. I'd rather see the people that are like, hey, we're all in this category together. I hope you do well. I hope if you win, I'm so good with that. I'd rather see that. But inevitably, you always see some people that want to see someone else do bad so they can do well.
So are you proud that these awards were somewhat of a spawn of the Grow Together, or are you indifferent to it?
Um, Bye, buddy. I love you. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Um,
You look like such a nice father.
they I'm indifferent to them. I don't look. I know the awards are a hot topic right now,
I
but
don't think so.
I don't think about them at all, honestly.
It's just like any other topic that we're talking
So,
about.
do you know what I think about all the time? What's my next video? How am I going to make it interesting for my How am I going to make it interesting for the people that are watching? Are they going to like this content? Um, there's only one format of video that I put out that I think is the same as everybody else's, and that's because my watchers like it. But that's the look at me what I got on New Comic Book Day video. I put that out because people like to watch it, but for me, it's probably one of the most boring things I do, and I only spend like 3 to 5 minutes on it because basically you're just showing a book and setting it down, showing a book and setting it down, showing a book. All right, got it. You
There's
got
no heart.
books.
There's no passion in it.
And so when I show them, I try to at least tell a little bit who the artist is on the cover, why I like it, if there's a story that's getting me on it. But the other things I try to make really original. Like I was telling you about Savage Saturday Comic Review. And one of the things I really like about that is I really try to bring stories on that channel, like obscure stories that people haven't seen or read before, or stories that are forgotten in time. And I'll go through every single page. I'll put every single page up on the screen, and you can experience a story that's maybe 40 years old that you didn't even know existed, but now I've shared it with you.
And that is something of value. Now, whether
Um,
you're a Conan guy, whether you're a Savage guy, whether you're into that type of uh, genre or niche, you can appreciate the fact that you're helping. You might take a guy that has no interest whatsoever in that, and because the way you explain it to them, maybe they'll develop an interest, and
right,
that's a big deal.
and Savage Saturday Comic Review isn't just Conan.
Well, you do a lot of Savage stuff on there.
Yeah, I mean that. Well, that's why it's Savage Saturday, but it's always Savage themed, right? It's always
Yeah.
some type of character. But
Yes, I know there's a lot more characters that are not Conan that are Savage. You have Cull, you have Red Sonja, you have Tor, you have Thungar.
yeah, but you have people. You have like one of the ones I really enjoyed that I did. CJ was Salimba. No one's ever heard of Salimba,
You have Salima that I never fucking heard of.
right? And
There you go.
and then all of a sudden, I do something like that. So, oh my gosh, I didn't know this existed. I'm gonna go look for it. That is such a cool character, and that makes it worth it. All of a
And
sudden
that
you've got these stories that are forgotten in time that nobody knows about. You just showed it to somebody for the first time, and now they have a new story that might become their favorite story.
and there's definitely some value in that. I really appreciate that. Like I've said this a lot of times. The guy in a
Well,
chronic that's actually inside the
I was
chat.
just going to mention him. So if you want to talk value on your station, watch Joe's channel.
Hmm.
Joe has so much information, so much comic history on his channel. Joe doesn't do a bland, this is this, this is that. Joe gives history with his books.
And he has a way. I've said this to you offline. He's got a way of making something that I have no interest in. He's done this a lot of times to me. I've had zero interest in. And the way he brought the narrative and the history and it talks about it, he got me intrigued enough to want to at least give it a shot. And that's impressive in itself. He's a storyteller, and part of the YouTube creativity and the content creating is being a storyteller, and he's definitely one of our best. So I'll give Joe a lot of credit. Don't get it to your head, Joe. All right, don't.
Well, you got to be careful. He's a retired lawyer. His ego gets up there.
Oh yeah, I know. Trust me, I know the type. He's got Bruno. He's got a lot of stuff. Listen, we know all about you, Joe. But no, he's definitely a great one, and you've actually evolved and changed some of your content over the past few months as well, where you've started to incorporate a lot of collaborations and a lot of work with Madam Blaster, and that's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic between the two of you.
Sure, go
I
ahead.
I personally love the dynamic of seeing a male and a female simultaneously on the screen because it gives you different perspectives.
Right.
Now, I'm not sure where. I think it's because it's the beginning stages of that show that you're doing with her on the Monday mornings. I mean, I'm sorry, Saturday morning.
Saturday, the coffee and cosplay.
Yeah, because it's original. Like you're still in the baby stages of the content creating on that. I mean,
Right.
do what 7, 8 episodes, I guess, altogether, or 6, something like that.
Yeah.
So you're kind of feeling your way right now as far as where the direction is going to go. I personally would love to see a lot more of the art and a lot of the sculpting and that kind of play. But
Yeah.
I like the interaction that you and her have when you're on screen together.
Yeah,
It
we've
works
always,
well.
we've always got along well. We have good banter. So one of the earliest collaborations I did with Stephanie is I know she's an artist, and I got the art portfolios from Rhinos Comics.
Now, Gary, you said she's an artist. Can you please put this to bed for us?
Sure.
Because there's a lot of speculation and
Well,
debate as
specifically,
far
she's
as
a sculptor.
yeah. Well, that's an artist. Uh, he, there's a lot of speculation and debate over where she fits into the tiers and totem pole of artists. Is she a professional artist or is she not a professional artist?
I would 100% consider Stephanie a professional artist.
Thank
She's
you. That's
out.
what I.
She has public displays of her work showcased out in the public. You could go to a lawyer's office and see the Boston sculpt she has. You could go to a military base and see a 7-foot statue that she sculpted.
That's what I said. I was under the impression that she was a full blown professional artist, and you
And
can
if
tell
you
from
see
her
her
work.
work, her work's amazing. There's she
Absolutely. I'm not.
And
I'm
that's
not.
why I invited her on that 6-part series I did. I'm like, I need an artist perspective because I'm art stupid. I need someone that has an informed opinion and can give legitimate, intelligent discussion on what I'm showing that I can't give. Because I
Now,
can look at it and go, I like it. It's Conan and there's monsters and there's girls. It's fun. But
the
she can look
the
at
reason
it. She talks
brought
about the
that.
composition, the structure of it, the way the scene's set up, and she gave a lot of fun, informed opinions that I wouldn't have on my own.
Now, the reason I brought that up is because she is one of the finalists on the Artist Award, and
Right.
there's a lot of controversy versus whether professionals and amateurs should be lumped in together, because clearly a professional is a professional for a reason, and an amateur is amateur for a reason, or just hasn't been seen yet at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot of people don't understand. Like I'm the side that personally I don't think professionals should be lumped in with the amateurs.
And so
And
make 2 categories:
there you go.
amateur
That
category,
would make
professional
sense.
category.
That would make sense. Or how about this? You take a group of professionals that are in our community, professionals that are in our community, and have them actually vote on the amateurs. And don't leave that up for public. Let the professionals who actually know what
Oh,
they're talking about.
make them into a panel. You're saying?
Yeah, and actually they know what they're talking about. They've been there, they've done that. And let them critique the amateurs
I
and
can
give it
see how that could work.
and actually make that award somehow valuable and actually help an amateur that actually wants to get seen propel themselves into the eyes of somebody else.
Well, all these things in the end only had the value that you assigned to them.
Very true. I'm just trying to make them more meaningful. That's all.
Right. I mean,
It's tough.
I don't need my name on a piece of plastic to make me feel valuable to the people that interact with
Some
me.
people do, and you know that very well. Some people need that that plastic to make
I
them feel
know,
better.
but I'm being interviewed, so I'm giving my take on me.
Yeah, but yeah, again, I'm not putting her on the spot. I just wanted to, yeah, because there's a lot of controversy or like questioning whether she's a professional or not. And I've always been
I don't know.
knowing that
She's
she's
so
a
good at what
professional.
she does. I've always
She's great.
considered her a
She's
professional.
great at what she does. I find her work actually very like the best episode I've seen you do with her on Saturday mornings was the one that she was actually sitting and sculpting while you guys were talking.
Right, and I've told her she should do more of those because when you're seeing her actually work, it's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And her hands are working quick. She's like she had a musculature down on that sculpt in like less than 20 minutes. I'm like, how did it go from you tearing clay in your hands to it's all of a sudden it has a form?
So where do you see that actual program going and evolving to next six
Like
months?
not my program. That's for her to decide.
Oh, that's completely on her. It's not a collaboration where you
Oh
guys
no, she
really agree.
asked me to co-host, and I said yes. And where I come in is I help with structure. I help set up our facts and our bits and stuff like that. We completely collab on the show, but at the end of the day, it's her channel and it's got to be developed the way she wants. I don't want her to develop the channel based on things I do. It's her channel. It's got to naturally progress for her in her way.
So guide me through how it works when you're doing a co-hosting kind of situation where you're regular co-hosting because I don't get along well with people, so I've never done that co-hosting thing.
Okay, so usually we'll usually we'll have a meeting on the Thursday or Friday before the episode airs, and we go live on Saturday, right? And we'll sit down, and I get one of these notepads, and we go down our structure. So it'll be like one, you say hi to the crowd. Two, you do your early bird trivia because you want to reward the people that come in because they have the notification bell on and they come in early and they're there to greet. So you're sitting there and her and I go through piece by piece and we structure out how it's going to go. Sometimes we'll even structure in different parts where we pick on each other.
Oh, so you actually take a lot of thought into how you're going to approach it. There's no
Right,
winging it.
because yeah, because you want it one. You don't want it to have an indefinite amount of runtime. You want to structure the show so it's got a certain amount of runtime. It can go over that by 10, 15 minutes or under it by 10 minutes. But you want an idea of where your show is going to end. You want your audience to know when they tune in about how long they're going to be there because they got a data plan. So you want to make your content as consumable as possible for the people that are tuning in to watch you.
So
It's
basically,
makes you
completely the
feel
opposite of what I do. Completely
yeah,
the
yeah,
opposite of what I
yeah.
do. Okay, just
Well,
making sure.
you're insomniac, so you run all night. What you do for your show makes sense for what your show is. Your show's for night owls. Night owls are up.
Maybe I
But
don't know.
when you have a show on a Saturday morning, people are waking up. They only have a certain amount of time to devote to something. Then they got to get on with their day.
And do you do the same for your other shows, 1011 and the Hot Seat?
No, I want to usually keep them to 45 minutes. I will let them go long if I think that it's going interestingly enough and I think there's enough interesting content where it warrants it to keep it going.
Has it ever dragged so much where you had it to say, "I got to end this show," even if it's 20 minutes early, half an hour early? This is like I'm dying over here. Have you ever had that kind of situation on any specific stream or with a guest? But I'm not going to say name, don't name anybody. I'm just saying, have have you had that kind of situation?
I've had, yeah. I mean, if you do regular content, you've had every kind of situation. And there's been some shows I'm like, oh, this is my show, but I'm ready for it to end because I'm done spending the time here. But
So
that's very rare. Most of the time, I'm really having fun. I'm really getting to know somebody I don't know, or I'm having somebody back that I do know, and I enjoy them so much that I'm just having a great time hanging out with them. But
and
there is the occasion when you have somebody on that you're not quite familiar with, and they just are killing the vibe the whole time.
I could understand that. I could definitely understand that, and I've actually endured that, so I could relate.
Because you
Um,
want energy on your show, right? Your show doesn't
mhm.
survive unless it has energy.
Absolutely, you want to keep it going. You want to keep a certain feel and vibe. You want it to be a reflection of yourself. If you're a very boring person, then let it be boring. I don't think you're a boring person, so I think you like to see it going. Um, when you first started doing these shows, when you first started doing your streaming,
Yeah,
there was a different vibe in the community, different feel in the community, and I think there's a different feel now as well. As everything changes, years changes, styles change, things change.
right.
Do you feel? Did you like it more in the beginning? Did you like it more? Do you like it more now? Do you feel that uh, it's we're going towards a positive direction as a community, or do you feel we're kind of hitting a stagnant point, or maybe we're going in reversal? How do you feel about the community as
I
a
like
whole?
it more now, even though it's different. So when I first got in, the community was more open when I first got in.
True.
But I like it more now because all the people that I've got to know over time, I've become better friends with, and I enjoy the friendships a lot more now. And over the last year, some of the people I've become deeper friends with has really been fulfilling for me.
Now, by saying more open, do you feel that there's some additional gatekeeping that's happening right now?
Not
Or,
gatekeeping. It's just everyone everyone came in at the same time. Like a baby boom. There was the COVID boom, right?
Mhm.
Everybody's saying hi to everybody. Everybody's getting to know everybody. But over time, all those people separate. You get people that you come closer to than others. That's not to say you don't like other people, but you already touched on it earlier. Clicks form. We all have clicks. Clicks aren't a dirty word. People want to make clicks a dirty word. Clicks are just the people that you identify with the most and become closer friends with, and that you have, say, an easier time uh, interacting with. Right? Um, you flow with different people in different ways. You're in your certain cliques, you flow with people a lot better than people outside. You may like people outside a lot more. But you definitely branch off,
Well, that's
and
part of
then
the evolution.
right, and then you have people that you're really close with, but they have different things going on in their life. Sometimes they're around more, sometimes they're around less. When they come back, they're invited back with open arms, and you enjoy them for when you have them there. When they're not there, you let them know they're welcome back whenever they decide to come back, and you keep reaching out to them and keeping in contact and making sure they're okay. And but it's always evolving, right?
So you see everything going in a positive direction.
It's a direction. Rather, it's positive or negative depends on the people that are doing it. But overall, I think it's a positive.
Okay.
I think at least from my perspective, because a lot of the friendships that I started making are really cemented and really grew closer to these people over the last year. Um, and I'll give you three examples, right? No, I'll give you four examples.
Okay.
So, well, Anachronic Comics, Jerry the Jitterbug, Matt Woods, you, and I'll do a fifth, and Stephanie. All people I knew in the periphery, all people I became really good friends with over the last year, like really close.
And that's
Now, I wouldn't
impressive.
trade this friendship and how close I've grown to these people to go back a few years and had the less structured, more inclusive community. I really like where I'm at right now.
So you like the where it's going for you. Uh,
For me, it's going in a good direction.
yeah, may not necessarily mean as a whole that's going the right. I feel like we're hitting a little bit of a stagnant point in our content creating, but
Well, I mean, that has to probably do with the comics going down the hill at the moment too, though.
well, you have the rage people that love to rage about things. They should be going through a boom, and they're not. They're even sort of going through a lull right now as far as being able to put up innovating stuff. So I find that we're at a crossroads right now as far as where the community content creation is, and we'll see where it's gonna go for going forward. Um, where do you see your channel going in the next year or so? Like what are your like near term, long term plans for the channel?
Well, I'm 70 subs away from 2,000, and I've learned that the subs aren't as much, but when you're close to a goal, you just want to get by it so you don't think about it anymore. So I just want to hit that 2K so I don't have to think about it and keep going. But as far as where my channel's going, I just want to keep doing the shows I'm doing. I don't want to stop the 1011. The 1011 is the most fun I have on YouTube. In the hot seat's the second most fun. I love doing those two shows. And Savage Saturday Comic Reviews is another fun one for me because I connect with a certain niche crowd, and I love that they love seeing these stories, and I love that I get to share them with them
So basically, 1011 overtook the hot seat. That's interesting.
easily for me. And I'll tell you why. I find it much more engaging to listen to people talk about something they love than to ask them questions. If someone brings their books with them, they've picked these books out because they mean something. Look at the show last night with Joe when he was talking about that two-part Superman. How could you not be engaged with that? How could you not enjoy listening to this man tell you about this story he connected with that stuck with him his whole life?
It makes sense.
It's much more engaging than, so how'd you get into comics? Yeah, you still like them? Yeah, they're pretty good, huh? Got some art in there, got some stories.
Or you could do your show and tell over and over again that you did on 10 other channels before you came to that
I
one.
love, and look, it was a whim of circumstance that I came up with it. I'm so glad I had the idea because I love doing that. If I if I'm ever not on YouTube, I just want to be known for that 1011. I love doing that show so much. I love meeting the people that come on. I love hearing their stories, and I love that they come on to my show and they show books they don't show on any other channel because nobody's asked them to show books that they actually love and tell them why they love these books and why they're important to them.
I
That's
could
why
say
I
this
make
as
a point to state that I don't care about the value. Bring me 12 50-cent books and just tell me why you love them. I'm good.
I could tell you this for just from being on the opposite end and being a guest on that show. I did enjoy that experience a lot more than I have being a guest on other shows. Like it gave me a chance to actually sit and like get into stuff in a way where I normally don't. Because I'm a I hate I you probably didn't know this about me. I hate doing look at me's and show and tells.
Well, yeah, and the 10 words
Despise.
will look at them.
However, if you give me a platform to sit there and really like get into the nuts and bolts of why I bought something and why I like it or why I'm speculating on it, I could talk for hours on it. And that show gives me a platform to do that, and I think it brings other people out of their shells as far as where they normally don't really talk much. Now
Right.
they're forced to talk about it.
And
It's putting the spotlight on them.
like I said earlier, look, all those big keys are fine and they're nice, but we've seen them all a million times. To me, they're boring now. I don't if I never see another ASM 300, I'm good. If I never see another X-Men 1, I'm good. If you bring me like Like Bearded Comic Bro. You bring me him on and he says Super Pro. You're not going to see Super Pro on any other channel.
No,
And
probably
why
not.
he loves it, right? It's
It
amazing.
became a
It's
meme
great.
at one point, but yeah, I get what
But
you're
no,
saying.
but you get these odd books that really connect with people. And that's the magic, right?
Well, that's the thing. You want I like it. There's an element to it that's very different from other platforms where people are doing a show and tell type of platform, because this is a little bit more than a show and tell. It's show and tell what I got, and let me show and tell you about me kind of a thing. So because every single book that they pull out is a piece of them that they're pulling. At least that's what it should be. Some
Right.
people
Some
they don't
people don't get
understand
it,
it.
and
Some
some
people
people
don't
get it
understand it.
completely.
Yeah, but the people that do uh, um, subscribe to it, they'll come in and they'll put their hearts into what they're showing. Joe was a perfect example of that yesterday.
Yes.
So I enjoy that. I get turned off with the people that are
Well,
just going through the
let's
motions.
let's go back to an old one. Do you remember when I had Tyler Glass on? Yes,
Yes,
that
yes,
asshole.
I do.
Um, Look at the
We
books
try
he
not to give
wrote.
him a
He showed
blown
a
head, huh?
great mix of books. Then he brought out that Platinum Age book, which was amazing. Nobody knew he had this stuff, and he brought it out and he talked about his love of these different things.
And that's the thing. You get to see a piece of it. I think it was Matt Woods actually when I was on that made a comment in like I didn't know you like collect these kind of books and that kind of thing. I'm like, well, one, you got to watch through about 10 hours of my content in any given stream to find me burying little like gems of that in there. And the other thing is, um, I usually use my channel as a platform to like get people to come out of their shells on it. I could talk all day on my channel. I got no problem with that. And if I got a boring guest or something, I'll talk over them and just keep going over.
Right,
Uh, you subscribe to the same kind of method when you have your guests over. It's not about you. It's about your guests.
right. And you see, I don't interrupt the show. When the guest is on, I mean, if I'm going to ask you on my show, it's about you. One, I'm thankful that you would come on my small dinky ass channel, right? No one has to come on my show. Nobody has to watch my content. If you do me the honor of coming on my show, I'm going to make damn sure that you know you're the spotlight of it.
Did you ever subscribe into that theory where, well, I support you, you need to support me, kind of a thing? Because that has gone on for a long time in the community, and I still see evidence of that in a lot of cases. Have you like? Do you ever watch a show or a channel with the intent that they need to subscribe to me too or watch me too, or you watch it just because that you want to watch it?
Look, time is short, man. I work full time, and there's not a lot of time to watch a lot of content. The content I do watch, I enjoy. There are a few channels I watch, and not because I particularly collect what they collect, but they like what they collect. They support my channel, and I enjoy supporting them. So it's a mixture of both. There's a few channels I watch that aren't necessarily up my alley, but I like the people a lot, so I enjoy watching them for them. Not so much what they're showing me.
Okay, so it's
Um,
more of a supporting your friend or
right,
a
I'm still
person that you
engaged,
appreciate.
but it's because I like them.
Got
You
it.
know,
Got it. I have a tendency of doing that as well, so I could definitely understand that. So you think your channel is going to continue going through the same type of platform, at least for the near future? You don't, if it's not broke, don't fix it, kind of a routine as far as that's concerned.
yeah. I mean,
Um,
I think when my channel does evolutions, it's something that occurs naturally or a whim hits me. Like right now, I don't feel my channel's in any kind of trouble. I think my channel's doing really well. I'm really happy where it's at. I don't think I have to change anything. I wish I had more time to run it more. I do even more live shows, even though I'm doing like three a week now, because my favorite thing is interacting with the people. And I was fortunate this week where I was asked to be in a couple shows, but I don't get asked to be on a lot of shows. And I think when you
Which I
host
find it
shows,
odd. It's funny you
yeah,
just said that. I find that very odd because one of the biggest reasons I had you on today is because I never, at least from my recent memory, I don't remember you ever going on to somebody's channel that's not part of a panel, that's just a strict one-on-one type of situation, and basically doing a one-on-one interview with you directly. I don't remember that ever happening, and if there was, please correct me and tell me that's the case. And
it's
that's
happened a few times.
it must have been a while back though.
Yeah, I Hoarder's Hide had me when Scott was doing his 7.5 questions. He he invited me on that. Brian had me on his 411. Um, yep. I was on 10-watt questions with Lee.
Those are a
Um,
little bit different type of platforms. It's like you mentioned 411.
well, it's
I've been
still
on the
one on
411.
one though.
The 411 I remember I've been on as well. It's kind of a canned question kind of a thing
Right.
where they're
Remy
not.
had me on his show early on when he was doing it with oh, I can't remember the other guy's name off the top of my head.
How much did Lee make you squirm when he asked you who you want to fuck in the community?
No, I just didn't have an answer. And so immediately your brain tries to go to a joke answer, right?
Yeah,
But and then I'm like, I'm not going to say anyone else isn't going to say. It's just going to be stale. So I was stuck.
I saw you. He stumped all of us.
Because I mean, and if you watch that, everybody kept saying like the same three people.
Yeah, a lot
A
of
lot
them
of them
are.
said DJ Link, some said
Yeah.
Nick's Kicks and Comics. So everyone kept saying the same couple people.
Well, I said Tylox because I actually slept with him, so I was like, all right, let me see.
There you go. Oh, but you didn't answer. You didn't answer the big question though.
What's the big question?
Who was the little spoon? Who was the big spoon?
Well, he didn't ask me that question. I would have answered if he asked me.
I'm asking you.
Oh, you're asking me? Well, you know, I'm not exactly a small individual. I'd have to be on the outer rim. So,
You were on Tylox's outer rim.
mhm, we'd
All
have to
right.
go about that.
You heard it here first, guys.
No, but that was probably out of all the questions he asked on that interview, and I'm sure that a lot of other people will agree to that. It was the most squirmish and most difficult question to answer, honestly, because if we picked out any female in the community,
Well, look,
if I picked out a female I find hot in the community, all of a sudden it's become a freaking controversy that I want to go fuck her or
and
something,
I told Lee something after the show. I go, look, if I had a real answer to that, I wouldn't answer it. I go, that's the kind of question I don't get into.
Well, like
And Lee's
it's
like,
like
I understand because Lee's easy going. I'm like, that's the kind of question. I'm like, that can create a real rift between a couple people for no reason for something
well
silly.
now like let's say I find somebody hot that's in the community, and all of a sudden I say, well, I would fuck her. Like now even if we were cool with each other, now there's gonna be this uncomfortable feeling between us because I said that.
Right. But that's what comics are trying to create that air of
But it was
uncomfortability.
definitely an interesting format.
But look, dude,
But
you just got to do. It's okay to call them out on it too.
oh yeah, Lee's probably the best to call out on stuff because he'll give you back and forth, and that's the beauty of dealing with whack comics.
Uh, Look, and Lee has the best laugh. When Lee starts laughing, you start laughing. Lee's laugh is so funny. Like when he's really going, you're gonna start laughing too.
Yeah, it is infectious. That definitely is infectious. He's got a one of those kind of laugh. Yeah, he's a funny
And
dude.
when he really busted me up when I was doing my 10, as we're doing the end, and I always fucking mess up the waving bullshit. And then I did my normal keep it casual. And he's like, don't do that. And then I lost. It busted me up.
But going back to what we're saying, like I don't, I like I've seen you go on to shows where you're sitting there and you're telling us about the comics, maybe a little bit of narrative about how you grew up and stuff like that, which we've heard. a few times, but I never like heard anybody like talk about current events with you and like really like kind of like you know how you
I've
feel
done
about
that on
this, how
Nick's
you feel
channel a
about
little
that.
bit.
But that was a while back.
Yeah, a
It's been
couple
a
of months
while.
ago on Two Nerd Dads when I was got out of work a little early and was able to jump on.
That's the problem with that show. I love that show, and I love the dynamic between Nick and Ignacio. My biggest problem with that show, it is in the smack dab of the day on a Thursday, and because of that, I'm a lot of times I can't participate because it's in my workday, so it's tough.
Right.
It's a tough show. So that was my reason that I wanted you in there, and I also consider you to be an influencer,
Yeah. Well,
even though
and
people say that's a bad word. I don't think it is.
well, no, we're all influenced by somebody. I don't
Thank you.
know exactly who I may have influenced, so I can't. I don't think I can take credit for
Well,
anything
you didn't
anybody does.
influence anybody about that grow together little thing that you started.
Yeah, but that's grown way past me now.
It doesn't matter. You still influence a whole people. You got all these spawns of the hell that are floating around, growing together right now because of you. So you got to take ownership of that. You did influence people in that way. You do influence people when you every time you go on to your 1011 or in your hot seat or your Savage Saturdays or when you're on with Madam Blaster. You're influencing people, whether you think you are or not. You are influencing them, maybe in a positive way, maybe in a negative way, maybe in a um, inconspicuous way, where you're not realizing, and they're not even realizing that they're being influenced, but they are because they're watching you. They're spending their time with you. They're being influenced you in some way or another, and that's a thing that's a very powerful thing. Like Spider-Man says, with great power comes great responsibility. And I feel that the larger a channel becomes, the more influence it wields, that they do form a great form of responsibility in their own way. Whether they care about that responsibility or own it, that's a different story. But I feel you're one of the people that actually do care about what you do. You do care about your individual branding, so to say, and that's important. I think that's really really important. Um, what do you think of the new wave of channels that have been hitting us over the past year?
What you'd have to tell me what the new wave is.
Well, you got a lot of wave channels. You got the Bays, the Comics by the Bay. You got the Durs. You got the S. Vaughn that's been hitting. The Trev Shipping Girl, somewhat new. Uh, that whole gen of channels that have been popping up out of nowhere. The W Vogs. Uh, there's a lot of channels that it feels like they all, without knowing, got together one day and said, "Hey, here we are." It's funny. It was like the British invasion kind of a thing,
Right.
but they're not British. You get what I'm saying. Out of nowhere, you saw a big cluster of channels that all of a sudden started to come in there and being very, very active and growing very quickly. What do you think of the new Jacks? Do you think they're holding the mantle well, or do they got a lot to learn from the old school guys like us?
Well, they're new, right?
Mhm.
So they obviously they got some stuff to learn, and probably not from me. But
Well,
I mean
clearly they
that's the whole
decided to.
journey is learning all the time.
Clearly, because they decided somebody is a godfather without being the godfather. I'm not even gonna get started in that one, but that's a story for another day and a conversation for another day.
Uh, that's well, I mean, it all depends on who they came in watching, right?
That's true.
I mean, you know, like Nick's Kicks and Comics still calls me the Godfather. It's a name I don't care about nicknames. If
Well,
a nickname means that much to somebody else, they can have it. I don't care.
well,
I at
no
the end
matter
of the
who
day,
get.
I know who I am, so I'm good with it.
Listen, I've always called you the godfather of the grow together, and that's gonna stick with me. So that's not changing. No matter what some other new jacks are deciding is the different stuff. It's just the way it
Right.
is.
Well, I would. The only so if I had to, as a more established channel, give advice to other channels that are new Jack channels, as you call them. Uh,
What are we going to call them?
well,
The
no,
baby?
no. Just so I can use what you're saying, right?
Well,
Is
can you think of a better name?
no, no.
Huh?
But I'm
New
just
Jack.
you called him New Jack. I'm referring to him as New Jack.
No?
Um, I'm using some of the same things. Like I do a lot of shorts. But the thing is, I don't use the trending audio. Sometimes shorts are tricky. You may get subs, but some of those subs don't continue to interact with your channel. So some of us old school guys, we have a community that's always watching us. You could turn into a live and see 20 to 40 of the same people all the time. And something I've noticed and with other channels, like I've seen big channels with like 8 to 10,000 subs, and you step in on their lives and they got two or three people watching, and that's
Does that
it.
make any sense to you?
The people aren't engaged with the content. So my advice would be, if you're doing shorts and you're enjoying them, well, obviously keep doing it. That's part of the fun for you. But also to dedicate time to making content that builds you an audience that connects to you and who you are and creates a community in your channel. If you go to my channel, I have a community that's always there. If you go to your channel, there's a community that always there. You go to DJ's channel, there's a community that's always there. You go to Jerry's, you see Jerry the Jitterbug, same people are always there. Anachronic Comics, same people are always there. Those are established communities. Those people always turn out and support you. That is, I think, the best building stone for your channel is to create your own community. Don't try to create someone else's community. Your own community has got to become natural for you. You got to find your niche, you got to find your voice, and you got to create your community that's there for you and the people that follow you.
Do you feel that a lot of the channels approach it in a way where it's over the top, excessively love me kind of content? Like, here I am, love me kind of content, instead of putting out there and like love it or hate it, here I am. Because I remember when our wave came in about 3 4 years ago, when there was another wave that they jumped in pre-COVID, right before COVID, and everybody, I didn't feel the vibes of, ooh, love me because I'm here and look at me kind of a thing. I felt more of like, well, here I am. Do you like me or do you not? Like, it was a different vibe. It was a weird,
Oh, you mean
different.
like trying too hard to have people like them? Is that what you're
Yeah,
talking
you
about?
feel that they're trying too hard, or is it
I think
it's too over the top?
I think that's the trap of just being young.
Well, some of them aren't young.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't disagree on you on it, but I don't have enough insight to make an informed opinion. But I don't think you're wrong either. I think trying too hard to make people like you sometimes will come off as phony and disingenuous.
And there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of the other way going on as well. But I was just curious on your take on it, because some of it is over the top as far as like,
Right.
if you could give one piece of advice to new content creator making videos and starting, hey, hey, be nice. How you call it? How you call it? If you could give one piece of advice to somebody making their first video tomorrow morning and dropping it tomorrow, whether it's a stream or pre-recorded, what would that piece of advice to that person be?
Talk to your community like you're talking to a friend.
So the Mr. Rogers kind of way.
Like just talk to your community like you're having a regular conversation with them. Like why are we on YouTube doing what we're doing right now? Because we have interests that coincide with the same interests of other people on YouTube that are either watching us or creating content themselves. So when I talk, I'm talking to people because I love comics, I enjoy comic, and I enjoy this community. And I'm talking to people from that same level, right? If you're watching my content, you love this stuff too. So let's share it. Now, I'm not going to come on like I come on with energy, but I come on genuine as well, I believe. And if I don't come on as genuine, please tell me, but I think I think I always try to be legitimate to my audience and my crowd. Like when they come on, they know who Gary is. They know what they're going to get from Gary, and you either like that or you don't. But I'm not gonna prance and pony myself to try to attract people that are transitory.
And let me ask you something, since we're like talking about this whole general thing, because seen this happen. They've taken what you used to do, what Menorog used to do, and shout people out on a consistent basis. Brian did that for a long time. I think he still does that on the Saturday shows. A few other channels done that as well. I'm not going to name everybody because a lot of people do that. Have done that like very well in the past, where they shout out random channels that are obscure channels that nobody's ever heard of and that kind of thing. And you kind of did your own homework as far as actually going and watching a couple of videos from that channel and saying, "Hey, it's kind of interesting. Let me put it in there." How do you feel that in relation to people saying to viewers or subscribers saying, "Why don't you send me a message or send me a comment with yourself wanting to be shouted out, and I'll shout you out instead"? Do you feel that that's like weird, or is there
Well,
any merit
I
in
think
that?
it just I think if you're asking someone to tell you to shout them out, I mean that's not growing the community. That community is already there in your chat, right?
Isn't that kind of bizarre?
Yeah, well, the community's already there in the chat. So if I go CJ, will you shout me out? Well, I'm already here. The people who are watching, I'm here. So I'm not really getting any subs from them. They probably, if they want to sub me, they've already done it. If they don't, they're not going to do it.
And you're also not doing any favors to those channels that are asking you to be shouted out, because it's basically themselves watching you shout them out. That
Right.
makes
I
sense.
mean, shout outs. I mean, that's why I changed how I grow things. Right. You 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 have to keep involving different parts of different communities, and that's what I said. Like, and it's weird because you get cornered as someone that hosts stuff regularly. Because like we were talking about, you don't get invited on other people's channels. Like this week I've been invited on a couple, which is odd for me. But I have a lot of people on my shows. A lot of people don't have me on their shows. So I don't get a chance to cross with some of their communities. But I try to have everybody on my program so they can cross with other communities.
Do you feel that's a
So if
form
I
of
was telling,
disrespect?
if people were coming in and go, Gary, can you shout me out? And I've had people ask me, I actually ignore that because it doesn't help. If I say if someone's always begging me to shout them out, I'm not going to because I don't think it helps and it doesn't make me genuine. It just makes me cave under pressure.
Do you find that's disrespectful when you're that open to a lot of people in the community and you don't have that same courtesy extended towards you?
Um,
I know I'm asking you some uncomfortable questions, but
oh no, I'm not uncomfortable. I'm just thinking about
at
it.
the same time, I wouldn't ask you any question that I wouldn't feel comfortable answering myself.
Yeah, no, I'm not uncomfortable. I'm just giving it thought. Um, would I like to be asked on a couple more different channels? Sure, but the thing with that is it doesn't really
Why?
upset me either because I might not fit their content. It's not for me to decide what someone else's content should be.
That's true. That's true. And at the same time, you don't want the
Because
let's
my content is made up where everyone is included. Their
and
content might not be structured that way.
And let's also be realistic about this. There you might have certain channels and certain individuals that might just want you on, not because they like you as a human being, maybe not because they like your content, maybe not even because they respect you, because they know that you have a certain following and a certain viewership, and because you will be on their channel, you will actually increase their views on their channel. Do you find that to be a part of the component sometimes when people extend their invitations?
I'm sorry. Repeat it again. I was answering a question. You only had half my attention.
Well, am I that boring?
I'm sorry. You say something?
Damn you! All right, listen.
No, I honestly I miss it because I was trying to answer somebody in the crowd.
Okay,
But
I'm going to say it again. Second time, and that's it. Okay, listen. Here's the
all
thing.
right.
Do you feel that some channels actually try to invite you over, not because they like you, not because they respect your content, not because they respect you, but because they want views off of your name and your brand recognition? Do you feel that that happens every so often?
Oh yeah, I think we all do it.
Well, I
I
know
don't
that
think that's
people do
exclusive
that
to
with me.
any one person. I mean, you have me on tonight. There's a certain crowd that comes with me. When I have you on, there's a certain crowd that comes with you. It's how we cross network.
Yeah, but it's
Anytime we have anyone on, we're looking to get some of them as well. There's always a part of that that's in play there.
there is a part of that component. But I'll tell you something. When I have you on, it's not because I want to get views off of your name. It's because I genuinely want to have you on
Right.
because you have something that I find value to speak to you about. I get a lot of people that actually
Oh,
reach
you're
out to
saying
me.
like directly doing it just because they want that from you, not
Yeah, that's
because
what
it's
I mean.
part of what happens naturally.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yes.
their
Yeah, I
focus,
think some people
and
do that for
it's
sure.
blatant. Sometimes it's very blatant. Do you like tend to just agree to that, or just not go on their show at all when they do that to you?
Actually, I don't get asked to be in shows enough to where I have to think about it.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. After this show, I could assure you there's going to be a lot more people asking you to be on their shows just because of the fact that I don't think they even realize that that's the case. Because I would assume, like up until now, I would assume that you would get a lot more invitations than your average channel and your average creator. I would
Right,
think that
I'm a
people would
small
watch you on.
channel though. When you really look at me, DJ, I'm Kanji. I'm reading DJ's comments over here.
Well, we're
Yes,
all small
DJ,
channels.
I'm a I'm a little ping in a bucket.
Yeah, but we're all small channels. I've said this a million times. When we look at the big boys, the real big boys, not the comic tops, not the Gemmies. I'm talking about the real big boys. When we talk about that, we're like little like glint
Right,
in
but
the community chronicles.
my channel, I think, also limits itself in some ways too to being invited to other things because my content is very niche focused, and most channels that are doing content are talking about all the books this week, or they're doing. All right, you want to hear a grievance I have?
Sure,
Um,
it's confession time.
yeah. So what the type of content I can't stand is copycat content, right? So let's take an example. When the Wolverine photo came out, and I call it regurgitated content. So
Hmm.
the Wolverine photos came out of him in the yellow suit, right? I must have had 300 to 400 images of that on my Instagram feed. It's not breaking news, all right? Fandango broke it. Hollywood Reporter broke it. These people broke the news. Everybody else is copying it, and then everyone's making a short about it. And because, I mean, and you know why they do it? Because it gets them views. But I actually avoid that content because look, I've already heard it. I don't need to watch it. I don't need to watch it multiple times. I don't need you to tell me what I just read on the Hollywood Reporter or heard on the John Campea show, or you know what I mean?
And usually, the
So
people that are the biggest channels usually do it better because they have
right,
better
and
production
I don't
quality and stuff like that.
like I avoid that. Like that content doesn't interest me. The hey, this just broke. Let's talk about it. It's brand new. It's not brand new. It didn't. It broke already. It's already been talked about. We're not going to add anything new to the conversation. It's just regurgitated.
Thing I think about small creators, look at bigger channels like yourself and see a bunch of. Well, it's funny. Like, where is that fine line?
Perhaps
What's
I never
small?
thought of that either, DVH. I'm sorry, CJ. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, it's just to jump on one thing before you answer. It's funny. What? How do you differentiate what's a small channel and a big channel?
Right, because
Is
I
like
think I'm small.
is 200 a small channel? Is 1,000 a small channel? Is 2,000 a small channel? Is 5,000 a small channel? I think they're all small. Unless you start hitting like 100K and over, I think you're small. That's my personal opinion, but maybe I'm wrong. So please, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Right. I'm trying to remember. Look, I'm old. I'm getting tired. I got to remember where I was at.
And the narcolepsy, see, everybody knows that you're our resident narcolept.
Narco. No, I just got to get up early. That's all. But I'm staying up late tonight. Sleep be damned. Um. So you're talking about me being on other shows. I think DVH might have a point. I never thought about it that way. I think there's a misconception, right, where people will ask you and you say yes, but they don't think that you would come on their stuff. And of course, you would because you're happy to have a conversation and talk to somebody that likes the same type of things you do.
Yeah, everybody regurgitating the same shit is a problem.
Oh, yes. I think that's what Taylor was responding to. Gary is right. Yeah, I can't. I can't
Mm-hmm.
watch like these Instagram shorts where everyone's like, "Oh, breaking news, this, that," and like, yeah, you've seen it too many times. Who cares?
And it's funny when the shorts were being really, really pushed by YouTube and they were getting a lot of views. Everybody decided to jump into the shorts game and just put out stuff that is basically duplicating over and over and over again the same shit that was put out there. Be a little original. It'll help. It'll help your channel grow in a different way.
Right, and I think a lot of channels do it too. And this isn't a criticism. It's advice if I'm fit to give it. You know what I mean? They haven't found a voice for their channel yet, so their voice, that's part of their learning experience, right?
Well, they borrow somebody else's voice. Let's just say that they borrow somebody else's voice. Is that the PC way of saying it? Or the nice way of saying it?
Right.
We
Well, I mean, it
borrow.
goes to your beef, right? It's stolen content. You're seeing what someone else is doing, and you're stealing the content and making it your own.
And there's nothing wrong with that if you do it right. Because think about it, you'll admit to this. Is there any real original concept that exists out there? It's been
Absolutely
done.
not.
It's been done
Everything's a
some way.
derivative of something else.
Yeah. So if you could take something that's been done in the past and make it your own in your own creative way, then that's a cool thing. But as far as being original, there's not a lot of originality out there. There's very few things that what I do is not original. What you do is not original. What a lot of other people do is not original. However, you are the only one that could do it in your own Gary way, and I'm the only one that could do it in my way, and so on and so on. You
Right.
just don't take the Gary way and make Gary way your way. And don't you get what I'm saying? Does that make
Right.
any sense? Like
Because
what
there's certain content I watch and there's certain content I avoid because I have certain triggers of things that as soon as I hear something, I'm done.
Jerry's a perfect example of a channel like that. Okay, there's a lot of channels that do restoration, rehab, conservation, and that type of thing. As far as comics are concerned, there's tons of channels out there, and there's some very, very good guys that have been in the that came from the archival documenting industry and like that kind of stuff. They know exactly what they're doing.
Hey, the
However,
only hands I see more than yours are Jerry's.
well, yeah, he's got good hands, and he actually what makes him different than everybody else is the fact that we're going through a journey. We're going through a journey with Jerry of discovering and learning and fucking up his own comics for our entertainment So he could learn, and we could learn with him along the line. And that's the thing that makes him unique and different. Yes, he's doing the conservation, he's doing the restoration, which a lot of other channels do, but he's using his own twisted ways of how to do it. He's freaking us out with these comic
Right,
showers
he's
and
got
bats
he's
that he does.
got fun commentary too.
Oh, yeah, listen, that charisma goes a long way. Not everybody's got charisma. Jerry's got it. There's a few people that got charisma. That goes a long way. But you can make up the difference for charisma if you're creative. But if you have
Right.
no charisma and you have no creativity, that's a problem. Get that out of ATM. Freaking see, I got a whole bunch of imitators wanting to be me, and I got my own problem. You got people stealing your content. I got people stealing my identity. That's what I have on here, but it's a different story
There's
altogether.
less faces to look at.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe, maybe.
Right.
Isn't it funny how many people stop doing the hand thing? There were a lot more of hand people out there when I first started.
Right.
I
Well,
feel like I'm one of the last few.
I think you do it for a certain reason.
Hmm.
Most people that started doing it were doing it because they were shy at first and didn't want to show their face. They had to get comfortable with what they were doing. You have your own particular reason of why you do it. I
I
think
also
most people
scared some
start out
people.
doing it because they're shy and
I,
scared.
I also scared some people when I showed a few glimpses of my face. I'm like, holy shit, I gotta go back to the hands because like nobody wants to see this. But no, I've noticed there's a lot less hand people out there for whatever reason. Um, I like it because there's less of me out there, less hand people. But what would you like to see more of being done in the future in the community? Whether you're participating in it or you're seeing it come from other people, what do you think? What would you like to see more to help put out positive content out there, good content out there?
I think I think channels get too prize focused, and I think too many prizes hurt the communities they have because you get the people that lurk in there that hurt your community. Like you want to see somebody get disappointed? Watch a live stream when someone's doing giveaways to try to thank the people that watch them, and none of the people that watch them win those prizes. It's someone nobody's ever seen or heard of, and you have all the people that support this channel and this person that does it. See this person that they're never going to see in that chat again win
Mm-hmm.
a prize and take off with it.
Happens all the time.
I would say be less prize focused, be more community focused. Now, the people that are giving out prizes are trying to be more community focused by doing it. But I really, ever since I saw that in that interview on Jimmy's channel, I really do believe that prizes hurt communities more than they help them.
It's like buying your friends.
It's not that they're trying to do something good and give back to the community. But what's happening is people that aren't from your community, are coming into the community and disrupting the community you've built.
I could
It's
definitely
okay.
understand that.
It's okay to want to give the people that support you something back, but it's not usually those people that end up getting it.
So that's what you want to see
Like I said,
further improved.
right? Well, yeah, people not so focused on a prize. Just you know, like, and I'm not saying I'm an example, but I don't do prizes because I just want the people that are there to know I want them there. To when they come in and they're coming into my channel's cheers, right? You're coming into cheers. Hey Norm, hey Sam, hey Woody. They're all saying hi to each other and having a conversation. It's friends are coming to hang out. And guess what? Sometimes a new person wanders into the bar and they become a friend and hang out. But they found it for the right reason. They didn't find it because they want to win something and then unsub and go away.
That makes sense. And you can actually screw me up because you screwed up my follow up question because I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, what do you think could be improved? Was your favorite thing of the channel, and what's your worst thing of the comic community thing? And you kind of answered the same thing with the same
Right.
answer. So you
I
screwed me
think
up.
prizes are really toxic, and I didn't see that. And again, I'm going to keep giving Jimmy DeDon credit until he did that interview on his 10 questions, and it really just like when I changed the Grow Together because of a comment DJ made, the comment that was made on there. Sometimes certain comments hit me, and they give me an epiphany, and that epiphany may only work for my channel, but it's my view.
Do you feel that there's too much toxicity going on around, or do you find that that's just a part of the program when it comes to any kind of community?
Uh, it's it's tough because I think prizes like the awards, like we were talking about, they create toxicity where there's not meant to be any. Like
But do you feel that there's any difference in this community than any other kind of community that you could be looking at as far as the levels of toxicity?
no,
And
people are people, and I'm not in other communities enough to make educated opinion to have an educated opinion on it.
I mean, everything was elevated for a couple of years during the quarantines and the lockdowns because I think people just didn't have better things to do because they were just locked up in house and they're thinking of things of how to poke at each other. But um, I'm just curious as far as your thoughts on that. And like, so you feel that
So
it is
if
what it is kind of
right,
a thing.
I do want to point out, if you've watched my channel, I haven't. The last time I did a giveaway was my 1,000th subscriber. I did one for Taylor Winder because I wanted to help him get to 1K. But and I sent that out. But even with that, and luckily that went to someone that's a regular in the community. I can't remember who, but even then, I had people I had never seen. Oh yeah, I sub him, I watch him, and then I go check his comments, and those people aren't in any other comments on his channel,
Isn't it funny how that works?
right? They're
It's
only in
just
that one specific video to win something, and they didn't support him in any other way,
it's very funny how that works. It definitely
right?
how it's funny. So I could see you, your eyes they're starting to droop. Your skin is starting to turn pale. You're
Hell, look how
really
red I am.
well. You're starting to. Yeah, the blood is coming down because the nighttime is taking you over. You need to sleep. So I'm not going to torture you much longer because I assure you, you will be on this channel again in the future. I will have you on again, maybe not on this platform, but one form or another, because I don't like to do multiple things unless you do something really. Please do something really fucked up, so I could have you on, and it could be a controversial show. Because this is kind of been a kumbaya show. Um, Next week it's going to be controversial because we got the guy. Everybody hates him, but I call it. We're going to go from one of the most loved to one of the most hated guys in the community. It's going to be great. So do something controversial, and I'll have you on the show again sooner than later. But obviously, you know that you have an open door to come on any single time you want. But before we drop off, and that I want to give everybody the opportunity. If there's anything that we discussed that they might want to have a question asked about or something like that, because we didn't really put out any questions and Q&A. Now's your time to do it. Any questions?
Don't answer no questions, and I won't tell you no lies.
Hey Lord, don't ask me questions. Hey Lord, don't ask me questions, please. What do you want? What do you want from us? To ask you this much is just a matter of trust, not an affront. What do you want?
Well, now's your chance, people. You could ask a question. You could not ask a question. Maybe we answered every question before they even got a chance to ask them. I don't know. But
Yeah, we
regardless,
talked about a lot.
yeah, we did. We did. I think we got to see you talk a little more candid, a little less reserved than what you usually might be. I know you're not. You're a loose guy. You're not a fucking. Oh, here's a question I want to ask you. A lot of people want to know what's the story with Gary B. Are you available for all the women out there in the comic community that want a piece of the Gary B? Are
Oh,
you
am I
available?
single right now? Like I,
Yeah.
I, I've been in a relationship the last 30 years. I am now currently single and really enjoying it.
Oh, you hear that, women? He's on the rebound, so you're gonna get some really good, sexy love from Gary now. So contact him in the DMs, and You don't know what kind of stuff you're gonna get. Hey, I'm just saying, guys on the rebound, they're a lot of fun. Maybe not for a relationship, but for a good night, it might work that way. All right, so now you know he's available, so you could go get him if he wants to be got. It all depends. But DJ giveaways are the top tier. I don't see any questions. There's a question. I was going to go, but finally, question time. Did you miss not talking about Conan for the past 2 hours?
No, because there's more to me than Conan.
Doesn't that annoy you when people just have you on just to talk about Conan? Like they just like stereotype you as the Conan guy or the Red Sonja guy or the
Well,
hot
no, I
chick
mean,
cover guy.
I'm a niche channel, so it makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah,
there's
if you
more to me
want to
than
talk
that.
about.
But I like that. I like that it's part of my brand, right? So I like that it's like that.
Yeah, but there's so much more to you as far as your brand is concerned. You're a horror guy. We didn't even talk
I'm a
about horror.
huge horror guy.
We didn't even talk about horror. We could literally talk of horror for like 5 hours. We've talked about it offline and online as far as horror movies and stuff like that. You're a huge John Carpenter guy.
Yep.
Even though we don't agree what the best John Carpenter movie was,
Well,
even though
it's
we don't
okay that
agree,
you're wrong sometimes, CJ. Don't hold it
right?
against yourself.
Well, I agree to disagree with you. How's that sound? Can we do that? Can we agree to disagree? Because everybody in their right mind knows that They Live was the greatest John Carpenter movie done. And you choose The Thing.
DVH, first concert, worst concert, best concert. Whew. First concert. Do I remember? I think it was. Well, I'm not counting the bars you go to and the local bands are playing. So I'm thinking big concert is what he means. Um, it was Motley Crue.
Yo, you saw Motley Crue live?
I saw Motley Crue 3 times live.
Oh wow, that must have been fun.
Worst concert. Shit. It might have been Tesla. Um, Best concert is so easy for me, and I didn't expect it to be the best concert I ever saw. And I still think back on it. It was so good. They both sound the opening and them sounded great. The opening band. Um, oh crap! Damn it! I just forgot him as soon as I went to say it. So the main group was the B-52s, and they were phenomenal. Great energy. They sounded great. The voices were perfect. They played so good to the crowd. And the other band, CJ, you're gonna know them. I'm blanking because I'm old, but I'll say I like American music. You know them? Damn it! I'm gonna fuck all. Let me see. Um.
Come on, sing a little bit more. Everybody loves that.
Oh, I can't sing. That's why I'm not doing it.
Well, sing. Everybody wants to hear you not sing well. I like American music. I like. What? I don't know the song.
Damn it! Come on, Scott from Hoarders Hides. Yes, Violent Femmes. Thank you, Beep It. The Violent Femmes and the B-52s were such a good mix, and it was such a great concert. They both came out. You wouldn't have known Violent Femmes was an opening band, and they shouldn't be because of the Violent Femmes. And B-52s came out after them, and it was just two groups in a row that just completely rocked the stage, and every single person in there was so engaged at that concert. Oh,
Violent
thank
Femmes.
you so much. It was driving me nuts.
See, I'm not that familiar with them, so you would have you would have been stunk forever if you were waiting on me.
I think you would like them, CJ.
Here's a question you must have asked and answered a million times,
Sure.
but just for the sake of TM, let's just answer this. Who would you get to play Conan in the movie?
Any capable actor. I don't have a set person. I think anyone that has the skill, the acting ability, and the right look gets a shot.
There you go, TM. You get a nice generic answer for a generic question.
No, because I don't ever think about that because everyone thinks, oh, Michael Keaton's going to be a bad Batman. He was great. Heath Ledger can't play the Joker. He was perfect. Any capable actor that is good at their craft can do a role.
Should we apply the answer you just gave for that Conan
No, I
character?
think I think the person they cast is perfect. TM.
Oh, you
I think
do?
Matilda Lutz is going to be a phenomenal Red Sonja. I'm hoping that the trailer comes out in the next couple weeks.
They better make her hair red, like
They
real red,
are.
like
Well,
really red.
Matilda Lutz, if you guys never saw Revenge with her, she can be Red Sonja.
I guess, but I need to see red hair.
She's got red hair.
Isn't she the one that played Ghost in Iron Man or like something like that?
No. She dropped out of Red Sonja.
Oh, that's the one I was thinking.
Yeah. No, I was okay with her too. You know why?
As long as she
She's
has red hair.
She's a good actress and she's known for doing her own stunts, so she has the capability.
All right. We answered that already, Worm. Stop asking the same questions over and over again. Look at this guy. He wants to know all about
Look
you.
at, look
Maybe
at
he
Joe.
wants to
Can
date
Bruno
you.
play Conan? He can play Conan O'Brien.
What's your favorite band or singer? Or both?
Ooh, favorite singer? Well, of all time, I'd have to go Prince. I mean, I grew up with Prince from Controversy on out. I still have CDs of Prince that people didn't even know that he made. Because Prince for a while was putting out stuff. I think it's always going to be Prince.
Prince was a genius. He was nuts, but he was a genius.
Tyler, if I can find a picture of me with long hair, yeah, but I used to have hair to the middle of my back. I could grow it out there again if I wanted, but screw that.
What's your favorite horror TV show?
Horror TV show? As far as I don't think I've watched a good horror TV that's an actual show in a while. But I generally like anthology ones.
Did you like Tales from the Dark Side?
I love Tales from the Dark Side. And as soon as that theme song, that do, I was hooked. That was it. I was there.
Tales from Dark Side or Tales from the Crypts?
Tales from the Dark Side, even though it was a bit campier.
Okay, good answer. What's your first car? Here's a question people probably didn't know.
It was a Nissan. I don't remember the model.
Okay, no more stupid questions, TM. Comic event. All right, what's your favorite comic event? Yeah, what's your favorite con that you've ever been to?
I've never actually gone to a con.
Well,
I
you
don't
go
live
to
near enough
ones
to
up-
any, and I don't, and
Don't
I
you go to the
get-
ones upstate? I think you would go to the ones upstate.
I don't get a lot of time to travel, and if I have time off, it's at home doing stuff with my kid.
Okay, how about we change his? What would be your favorite con to go to that you'd want to go to?
It would be the one where I can meet the most people from YouTube, whichever one that happened to be, because I would just want to hang out.
Makes a lot of sense. Heroes
With Tyler's question, my favorite sports team is the New Jersey Devils forever and always.
Yes, we all know that. We're not gonna hold that
Yeah,
against you.
and favorite player would be Martin Brodeur.
We're not gonna hold that against you. All right. Even though, listen, the Devils are okay. They're not New York, but they're okay. I'd even take the Islanders, but hey.
I don't mind the Islanders. Chicken Parm is one of my all-time favorite players. Pierre Turgeon.
Listen, if you were a kid in the 80s, which I was, how could you not be an Islander fan?
The Islanders were incredible.
They were kicking ass and taking names during those days.
Yeah.
Just like the Bills were, but they weren't winning. But that's another day, another story. All right. That's it. No more questions. Do we have any more questions? We said it was a Nissan. It was a Nissan. Nissan from Japan. Nissan used to be Datsun. If you didn't know that. Okay,
Favorite anime ever? Bubblegum Crisis.
that was a fun one.
Love Bubblegum Crisis. The first series.
So here's the deal. Now's your opportunity to, you know, promote yourself, plug yourself, tell everybody where they could find you. Here's your look at me.
All right.
Let's
Well, you can find me.
let's
at
give
JB
you a
Comic
true
Con.
opportunity. Wait, hold on. Let's do this the right way. Let's all look at Gary.
Look at me. Hey, everybody, look at me. Are you even listening to me? Look at me. Hey, everybody, look at me.
Let's look at Gary.
All right. Let's see. Yes, Joe. I am gonna fall asleep soon. And I'll get my 3 hours for work and then be at work.
Mission accomplished. We got you to fall asleep.
So you can find me on Gary B. the Casual Comic Guy on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Threads, which, still trying that out. It's a lot of fun. Almost to 400 followers on Threads, and nothing original there. I'm posting the same content on Threads as Instagram, so I haven't figured out what the point of it is yet. Tomorrow night, Mark Andrews, good Canadian guy, on In the Hot Seat with the Usual Suspects. Saturday, you can see me on Coffee and Cosplay with Stephanie. And next week, coming up on, let me get my calendar here. Next week, coming up on the 12th, we have Dale of Suspense for the 10-1-1. And we have Rob Wurst on the 14th for another 10-1-1. We have a 10-1-1 week.
A lot of 10-1-1.
Yeah, I told you it's my favorite show to do. Whenever I can fit extra ones in, I do.
Well, listen. Let's get those 10-1-1s in. So you're gonna be busy, Gary B.
Yeah.
You can get all savage on us on Saturday again. We're gonna see you in the morning. Have a cup of coffee with you. We're gonna watch you tomorrow grill and put in the hot seat Mark Andrews.
Right.
You're gonna have Dale Suspense and 10-1-1.
Which would be nice because I haven't talked to Dale in a while, so it'll be nice.
So I'm gonna ask you one last question. Who's your dream guest?
My dream guest.
It's got to be one.
It's easy. I haven't got him to agree to it because he doesn't really realize what books he says he would show on it. But I would love to have Jerry the Jitterbug on the 10-1-1, and he hasn't agreed to. He's been on In the Hot Seat twice, but he hasn't done a 10-1-1.
Yeah, but you've already had Jerry on.
You haven't had him on the 10-1-1, damn it.
He's not a dream. You could get Jerry to go. Come on. I want somebody you haven't got on. No offense to Jerry. We love Jerry. I want somebody that's a cop out. We know you love Jerry.
That's not
Everybody
a cop out. I want Jerry on the 10-1-1.
Okay, Jerry, go on the 10-1-1. He's gonna go. You watch. He'll go. He likes you. He'll do it. Now tell us somebody you haven't had on. That's your dream guest.
Oh.
In one form or another. Not. I didn't say which show. I just said your dream guest to have on.
If I could have a guest on. You know what? I'd like to get Red Sonja official on. She's got a killer Red Sonja collection. I'd like to have her on the 10-1-1 and talk about the Red Sonja trailer.
That'd be cool. That'd be a very, very cool interview.
Just because she's really informed on Red Sonja, obviously, but I wouldn't mind getting to see her 10 books and just talking Red Sonja.
No Arnold talking about his experience as Conan. None of that. It's a good choice what you picked out. I was expecting an Arnold.
No, I thought you meant within the community.
I just said it would be a dream guest.
Oh. Well, if it was a dream guest, I'd probably get John Carpenter.
Ah, that's a good one too. That's a very good one. All right. I think we're gonna. I think we dragged out too much. You're falling asleep. I think we got to leave a little bit for the next time. That's what good hosts do. They don't
I
give it
do
all.
want you, Chris. You do got to come on the show.
A good person does not just give it all away. You know, you got to hold a little bit back and then like make them want more. That's how it usually works. But I will answer one question that,
Sure.
that remains unanswered, and this comes from our friend here, Tyler, Shattered Glass Collectibles. Did CJ influence you at all?
Yes, because CJ made me think of things in ways I hadn't thought of them before sometimes, and you need that.
There you go, people. I did my job. Look at me. I did my job with Gary B.
I'm being serious.
Well, I appreciate that. And
Sometimes you
influenced
call
me.
things out that I haven't thought of. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
I'm not always a ranting maniac. There's some logic in what I say,
Like sometimes you're just a maniac.
but not a ranting one. How you doing, son of Bruce, Chris?
Did you have fun tonight, CJ?
I had
Did
a
you think
blast.
you had a good interview with me?
I think so because how long have we been going at this? We went at this for 2
Almost 3
hours
hours.
and 40 minutes. If you bored the shit out of me, I would have killed it in less than an hour.
Well, guess what? I had a fantastic time, man.
No, I think I did too. And I think our chat had a great time listening to you and talk about things in a different way.
I think we did good because Anachronic Comics is still up, and Joe's way past pumpkin time right now.
You might be right about that. You definitely might be right about that. So let's end the show, and you know what? Let's end the show in a very very positive way, where everybody that does a show should end their way in. And you know how to end the show with a thank you, right?
Right.
That's the best way to end a show, telling everybody thank you. So thank you, chat. Thank you, Gary. I had a wonderful time. Next week, we'll be influencing Sticky Goose. And until then, until the next time, thank you, people.
Thank you very much.
My friends, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I want to thank you much. Thank you very Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Whew. Thank you very much. Well, we're still live. And 20 people are still here, and we're still live.
So we are.
I didn't time that thank you video long enough in order to like click end. By the time it
you were a
ended.
fucking professional. What is this bullshit?
I never said I'm a professional. I'm professionally unprofessional. There's a method behind my madness, behind me. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it. Look at me ending the stream. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, ending stream.